Thank you for that, Abele. Just to be sure that I'm audible and you can all hear me, just type in a yes into the chat so I know that we are all together. Just type in a yes. If you can hear me, fantastic. Thank you very much, Praise. Thank you, Benny. So we're expecting a lot more people to join us. We'll have an amazing time today. Our session today would center around getting started in the tech ecosystem. How do you transition from whatever you do currently into the tech ecosystem? What are the skills you need to look out for? And what are the available career paths within the space as well? That's what our session today would center around. Thank you very much, guys. You can all hear me. Brilliant. Okay. So while we wait for others to join the session today, I would love to know where you're joining us from. Okay. So just type in where you are joining from. You are joining from Lagos, Nigeria. You're joining from Leeds in the UK. Just type that into the chat. Good evening, Kamaru. Just type that into the chat. Thomas is joining from Abuja. Fantastic. Omomi from Lagos. Okay, Kampala, Uganda. Francis, good to have you on the call today. Bristol in the UK. Abayomi, you're welcome to today's session. Kuwait. Oh, Stephen. Thank you for joining us today again. Nairobi, Kenya. Holly, you're welcome to our session today. So like I said, we'll have an amazing time, and I want us to keep the session as interactive as possible, all right? If you have questions, feel free to send your questions into the chat any single time the question occurs to you. Ibadan, Kamaru said Ibadan, the brown roof city of Nigeria. That's exciting. You're welcome to the session, Kamaru. We have from Istanbul, Abdurazak, you're welcome to the session. Accra, Ghana, fantastic. So our session is broken into two parts today, all right? Two broad areas. The first part is looking at a case study, how the different roles play within the tech ecosystem. We'll be introducing you to different career paths, from data analytics to data engineering to data science, business analysis, and so on and so forth. We know that you always have these questions. What's the difference between this and that? As a data analyst, do you only build dashboards, and so on and so forth? Okay, so those questions will be answered today. And then I'll come back later to talk to you about our upcoming programs starting on the 2nd of September. Okay, so sit back, relax, enjoy the session. You're welcome, Kiton from Toronto, Canada. Fantastic. So I'll be handing over to Efemena. Efemena will walk us through the first parts of our session, and then I'll come back definitely to guide you towards the end of the session, where I'll walk you through the program we have starting on the 2nd of September and how you can be a part of the amazing session. All right, Efe, over to you.
All right, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good morning to everyone on the call. Good to have you here. And it's always a pleasure to speak to every one of you. Anytime there's an opportunity to speak to you guys, I'm absolutely elated. I'm super excited to speak to you, okay? So we're going to be having a lot of fun today. We're going to be discussing, we're going to be talking about, how you can level up with tech. Do you know what I like? There's this keyword here, level up. All right. And you need to say it in a particular way for you to understand. You put it, the LL at both ends, you need to put it, emphasize, level up with tech. All right. So are you ready to level up with tech today? If you are ready to level up with tech today, I want you to say it where you are. Okay. Put your name first, then say, if a man level up with tech. Okay, those are the key things that you need to do to yourself today. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to be talking about how you can level up with tech today. So, and if this is the first time for you joining this kind of session, masterclass, all right, Fifi level up with tech, fantastic, I love that. All right, if this is the first time you joining the masterclass, any of this our masterclass, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. Number 1. So if this is your first time joining our masterclass, put a number 1 in the chat. And let's take it from there. Timilei, number 1, Ifunaya, Dunsin. All right, Felix, Victor, Faith. Okay, we have just a few first timers, but as usual, we have our ushers in the house. So if you look to the left of your screen, you see an usher raising up their hands, waving at you. All right, all you need to do is follow the usher. We have a space dedicated for newcomers. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, Wasiu is saying there's been more than five now. Okay, but it doesn't matter. You're welcome as many times as you want to come. You're good to. You're literally welcome every single time. All right. So if this is your first time, we would like to tell you about what analytics stands for. Okay, what we are out to achieve. Okay, we usually start with that for all our first timers, and even if you've joined our previous masterclass, we always reiterate our mandate. All right, just to ensure that everybody is aware of what we need to achieve. All right. So I'm going to walk you through just that in a few seconds. Okay. So 10 analytics is 10 analytics, not 10 analytics. That's a key mistake people make. It is 10 analytics, not 10 analytics. It is 10 analytics. All right. So 10 analytics is an educational technology firm, and our goal is to get more Africans into tech. That's the key, straight to the point. The key word is get more Africans into the tech space. That's literally what we're trying to do. All right. Now, if you look at the ecosystem, in the tech ecosystems, Africans are largely disadvantaged. And it's not because there is any discrimination to Africans, but largely because there is misinformation, and also because of the fact that Africans don't know that they can have, a career path in the tech ecosystem. So there's no information around, how you can get started. There's no information on how you can, land your first job, the skills to learn, and the things you need to do. So there's a lot of misinformation about certification. There's a lot of misinformation around how to get started, how to get your first job, and all those things. So people think they need so much to get started. Okay, people actually feel like they need to get certification, they need to get masters, they need to have worked for like 10 years, they need to have garnered so much experience in order for them to get started. And really, that's the reason why we started analytics, to sort of, lower the entry barrier for, tech talent within the African ecosystem to get them into the tech space. So our master classes and our sessions are designed to educate, all right, to enlighten, to open your horizon, to tell you things that are currently happening in the industry and what is attainable, all right, from our own experience, from our own relevant industry experience, not from what we heard, not from what's on the internet, but from what we have experienced as Africans in the tech ecosystem. Do you understand? So we have quite a number of training programs cutting across data analysis, business analysis, HR analytics, financial analytics, data science, data engineering, and so on. So we're going to be talking about all these career paths today. And the key thing is you not just learning the skill, but you getting a job after the training program. That's the key thing. You don't want to just learn a skill and you don't know how to transition. You find it difficult to transition, because that's one thing most people will find, very frustrating. You learning a skill and you not being able to get a job. But that's what we stand for. We help you, all right, to get these jobs. All right. So that's the key difference. And we're going to be talking about that as we go on into the session today. All right. Precious, it's good to be here also. It's good to have you here also. Thank you for that. All right. So who are the people speaking with you today? All right. So my name is Ifemena Ipro. I am the co-founder of Tenalytics. Currently, I work as a data science contractor with firms across the UK. So I work as a data science contractor, data analytics contractor with different firms, startups to Fortune 500 companies based in the UK. And also I do a little bit of freelance work for companies in the US. So prior to that, I've worked as the business data support lead with the post office. I've worked as a global business systems analyst with Teleflex, BI developer. I've worked as a data engineer, data scientist. My experience spans quite a number of key areas within the data ecosystem, and I've garnered quite a number of years of experience, close to a decade, working across different organizations, locally and international, and that's basically what I've done so far. With me today is Adeza Suleiman. So Adeza, do you want to just introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Once I'm back again, guys, my name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm a data analytics expert and the founder of 10 Analytics. My experience spans across a decade across different sectors from the automobile to energy, educational technology, financial services, and so on and so forth. I've also worked as a management consultant before I switched into data analytics. So for those of you who currently have a particular career path or you're a professional within a space, would also be speaking to you on how you can make that transition if it's something you'd want to do. Our mission is to help as many Africans get into tech, like Femena mentioned earlier, and we've been doing that for quite a number of years. We've helped about 1,000 Africans within the space of 3 years to get their first jobs in tech, moving from the classroom to getting their first jobs in tech. So I'm excited to be with you today. I'll be coming back later to share some experience with you as we move on in our session. Over to you, Efe.
Fantastic. You can see you are literally in good hands, guys. You are absolutely in great hands. And we're going to walk you through everything based on our real life experience. And that's the key thing people don't understand. All right. People don't understand that you need people that have experience to tell you how to navigate the job market, how to get started. All right. A lot of people provide you with free resources, free this, free that, free this, but it's difficult to use free resources to get into the tech ecosystem. It's very difficult. Nobody tells you that. But anyways, we'll talk you through the whole process today using our own experience and telling you how you can actually get started. All right. So we're going to be going through that the next 1-2 hours. Now, the key question I want to know in the chat, okay, why are you interested in tech? What's that motivation for you? What is motivating you to get started in tech? Is it for money? Is it you want to change the world? Is it you want to build, really intellectual, products and all that? To land a six-figure job, okay, okay, either okay or okay. I'm not sure how to pronounce yours. All right. They say now to land a six-figure. So honestly speaking, if you're in for the money, it's fantastic. That's good. And I won't lie to you. Don't tell anybody. Just between us, all of us on the call. But I also got inside because of money. Honestly speaking, I won't lie. All right. So to land a six-figure job from okay from a biomed we have. I wanted to become or behavioral analyst, or you want to. I'm guessing that's what you meant. I'm trying to make good money for myself and take care of my family. Absolutely, Wasi, that's fantastic. That's a good motivation. Now the money, oh, no, yeah, yes, absolutely, money there. So add value to my profession as for data. Okay, fantastic. Passion for data. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. All right, to change my world. Fantastic. That's good. To switch a career, to make a good life, to have a good life. I need a career. And after yesterday, I thought this part would be right. Okay, fantastic. Good salaries. All right. I don't think there is supposed to be any reason than money, honestly speaking. Have a good career path. So it might not just be money, it might just be, you're looking for something more strategic, you're looking for something more, yeah, obviously it comes with good money. Do you understand? But some people just want to have a change, create a change in the environment and all that. So different motivations exist on why people get started in tech. But I'll just take you through a few things why people transition to tech. All right. And back in the days, yeah, if you look back 5, 10 years ago, all right, in order for you to change your career path, you literally need to go back to university to get like a second degree to get started. You need to go back to it. So if you studied economics in school, okay, and you want to move from economics to something that has to do with another career path, engineering, all right, you will need to literally go back to school to have a second degree in engineering in order for you to become an engineer. But you see, tech is not like that. Okay, the tech ecosystem, the tech career paths that we have available at the moment don't follow suit in that particular manner. All right. So now tech as a career path is now, is becoming very attractive to graduates and most especially career switchers. All right. Most especially career switchers. So we have people that have been working as accountants, as finance professionals, or as customer service, relationship managers, and you don't like what you're doing, all right, and you want to switch, all right. So tech has now become that desired career path for people that want to switch their career, all right. Just the way you switch lanes when you're driving, all right. So it's the same way people want to switch their career to move from customer service to something different. Do you understand? And that's exactly what attracts people to the tech ecosystem. So not just graduates that are leaving school, but also professionals that have experience and are looking to transition from that experience into a new career path. So just a few of them I'm going to take you through is the first is great work-life balance and flexibility. That's one thing you enjoy from working in tech. Now you see a lot of people say they're working for a firm in the US and they currently live in Nigeria, they currently live in Ghana, they currently live in another part of the country, and they've never been to the US. They don't even have visa to go to the US, but they have that work-life balance. All right. So they get to work anytime. I remember getting the first my one of the jobs I did here in the UK. All right. And it was flexible working in the sense that you're not supposed to work 9 to 5. Okay? You're not supposed to work 9 to 5. If you want to work 9 to 5, it's your choice. All right. So if you're a morning person and you work best in the morning, fine, do your work in the morning. Nobody would send you block out your afternoon. All right. So any morning, any meeting you want to have, you have it in the morning. All right. If you're an evening person, you have your meetings in the evening. So it was so flexible. Obviously, it's not all careers, not all offices that would have that same kind of mentality, but essentially, the tech ecosystem allows a lot of work-life balance and work flexibility. All right. So that's the first part people are looking out for. Work remotely, you want to go on you can even take time out during the day to go out to have fun, to go for lunch, to meet up with friends. And it doesn't seem like a crime. All right. It doesn't feel like a crime, essentially. Do you understand? So rather than you have to be in the office every day, you have to when you wait for your boss to leave before you leave. Those kind of things don't exist anymore. Do you understand? Thanks to the tech ecosystem. Now, also growing job opportunities. Now, have anybody heard about job hopping before? Job hopping. Have you guys heard of job hopping? If you have, put a yes in the chat. So, okay, Shola's, okay, just yes, exactly. So you see, job hopping happens when there is a growing demand for that particular job opportunity. All right. You can't say you're job hopping in a career path that there is no job. Do you understand? Or the jobs are not. So you see, job hopping has now become has become the in thing because of the demand for tech talent. Okay. So you can easily just stay 6 months, a year on a particular role, move to a new role. It's not a sin anymore. Before it was a sin. All right. You need to stay long in an organization so that they can trust you properly. Do you understand? But it doesn't stay like that. There's a growing demand for job opportunities. People are moving from one job to the other, getting more pay grade, getting more, seniority levels, getting more opportunities, and so on and so on. So there's a large opportunity for people to get started. Do you understand? And there's a growing, job opportunity, growing demand for tech talent across the world. The other part is you don't need a tech related degree to get started. So before an accountant wants to become an engineer, all right, you would need to go back to university to get a second degree in order for you to get a job as an engineer. So, but in this scenario, like myself, I have a degree in economics. Economics is a business side, it's not technical. All right. Even though you do a little bit of statistics, why not a little, you do statistics in economics, but that's not like technical, it's a business, there's a business side of it, okay? All right. But now I'm working in tech and I've been doing that for close to a decade, okay? And I don't have any, other degree or anything like that. So those are the major misconceptions people don't understand, okay? Thinking that they need to go back to school to have a computer science degree or they have to get a diploma or something. Do you understand? So these are the things, misconceptions people have that when they are trying to get into tech. All right. The other one is fantastic salaries and benefits. So these are the things that we are all familiar with. Okay, everybody talks about money, they talk about tech. You want to get a good career path, you talk about tech. Get into tech in order for you to have money. All right. So yes, fantastic salary and benefits. Okay. One of our participants got a job. This was about a month ago. All right. And guess what? She got a job in the UK. It was £45,000 per annum. Okay, it was with a startup, and they give her what we call they give her a portion of the business. So she has what we call stock options. There's something called stock options. So they give you stock as part of your benefits, as being an employee with the startup. So they just raised about roughly, they raised about $10 million. All right. So she has a stock, she has a part of, she owns a part of the business as a data analyst within the same organization. So you see, this kind of opportunities never existed. You can't come in as you can't come in as an accountant or as some kind of business or a customer service representative and get stock options with the business. It's impossible. So you see, tech allows you to have all these opportunities, all right? Fantastic salaries and benefits. Those are like the key thing that you get from it because there's also a demand. So every organizations are looking to up their benefits to attract tech talents. All right. So you see a lot of them offering, totally work remote from home. All right. Allow you to so many benefit that allows you to, choose the organization over any organization that is out there. So there's a demand for tech talent. Now, the key thing also we need to talk about is you will get to work at the art of innovation and change. And I'm going to walk you through my own personal experience today that will back up this particular point. Nobody talked about innovation and change, but every organization is growing, right? And tech is that enabler that ensures the business grows. All right. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right. And essentially, that's what tech is all about. You are going to be working at the art of innovation and change. And if you've gone to any of our master classes, you'd see how, strategy, and that's if you notice Analytics is there, but under Analytics, you'd see data and strategy because you can't make any strategic decision without data. All right. So those are the key things that you need to understand. You will be working at the heart of innovation and change. All right. And that's basically what we're going to be talking about. So these are there are so many more, but these are like the top ones from my own perspective. All right. On why people get started in tech or why I personally even got started in tech. All right. But we'll talk about more as we go on. So, what are the tech career opportunities to look out for before the end of the year? All right. What tech opportunities should you currently on the call, you looking at me? Yes, you. All right. What career opportunities should you be looking at before the end of the year? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, the key thing you should know, the key reasons to select this career path, or the reasons why we selected this career path to look out for before the end of the year is, first of all, ease of learning. See, as adults here, it gets to a time we don't want to spend so much time to learn, honestly speaking. You don't want to spend the next 2 years, the next 3 years trying to figure out a particular career path and all that. You don't have that time anymore. So you need something that you can easily learn. All right. I'm not saying it's easily learn. The ease of learning is faster, it's quicker, and that's what we're going to be exploring today. The second part of it is easy to transition and get a job. Easy to transition and get a job. Now, the whole idea of you learning the skill is not just for you to learn the skill and just keep it to say that, oh, I attended the training on analytics and that's the end. No, that's not what we're looking out for. We're looking for you to get that skill and transition into a job. All right. So we have people that were entrepreneurs before, working as bakers, working as, construction workers, working as customer service representative that have transitioned from just learning the skill itself. So the whole idea for us is for you to learn the skill and for you to transition. And we are looking at jobs that you can easily transition into as soon as possible. All right, those are the things that we're going to be talking about. Okay, so ease of transition. So there's a growing demand for these roles, so that if you learn it, you will easily get a job. That's exactly what we're talking about. Now, the last and the main thing is higher rewarding salaries. Okay, so you'll get also we'll talk about the salaries as we go on, and what is expected from you. Okay, in order for you to get all these things started. So these are the three reasons. These are the three reasons for selecting the career paths that we're going to be talking about today. The ease of learning, ease of transitioning, and high and rewarding salaries. So these are the reasons we selected these career paths. All right. There are 7 career paths we have here. Seven. Seven. Can somebody say seven? 7 beautiful, industry relevant career paths that we are going to be looking at today. Now, 7 of them, very easy to explain, and I'm going to walk you through. All right, we have business analysis, data analytics, financial analytics, HR analytics, full stack data science, data engineering, and power platform engineering. So these are the 7 career paths that we are going to be looking at today. All right, 7 beautiful career paths you will get started. Okay, you would get to learn more about today. All right. So, and I'm going to be using my own experience, okay, to walk you through the 7 career paths. Now, a lot of you will be asking questions on you don't know who a business analyst who is within an organization, who is a data analyst, who is a financial analyst, who is an HR analyst, who is a full stack data scientist, who is a data engineer, who is even a power platform engineer. What roles do these people play in an actual organization? All right. What roles do these people play in an actual organization? So that's what we're going to be talking about using my own real life experience to walk you through who is a business analyst and what do they do. All right. All right. So people are cracking jokes in the chat. All right. Okay, business analysis, data analytics, HR analytics, financial analytics, full stack data scientist, data engineering, and power platform engineering. So I'm going to be walking you through a project I worked on personally. Okay, so I wore many caps in this particular project, and that's the reason why I feel like it's going to eat the nail on the head for majority of you that are looking to get started, that you're still confused. If a man, I don't know which one to take. Should I take business analysis or HR analytics? Should I take financial analytics or data analytics? Should I take full stack or should I take data engineering? Which one? If a man, I am confused. Do you understand? So the whole idea for this session today is to walk you through what these people actually do in the organization using a real life practical example. And now the example we're going to be talking about is SAP. All right, SAP. SAP is an ERP solution. Okay, when you say ERP, it is Enterprise Resource Planning. Okay, and we're going to be talking about that. Okay, today. Now, let me tell you a bit about the business, okay? Anyways, I've adjusted the information about the business. So the information you see here is not the actual business itself, but I've adjusted some of the names and the things they do and so on. So you really don't know the business itself. All right. So ERP. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. Enterprise Resource Planning. So essentially, let me tell you about the business. Let me tell you a story. So I'm going to say this. If you're a proper Nigerian or African, you should know this. Story, story. How do you respond to this? Story, story. What's the next thing you say? Story, story. Oh, precious. You and this O you put in your. Somebody's always putting O in everything. Super story, no, no super story. All right, story, story, story. Once upon a time, time. I know the people that went to Auntie Kemi and Co. nursery and primary school. I know the people that went to Auntie Kemi, Uncle Razak, and Co. and friends. All right, but anyways, it's good. We're all here together. It doesn't matter. I went to Auntie Kemi also. There's no problem. All right, so I'm going to be telling you through. I'm walking you through a real life project that I worked on, and the caps. These different roles they play in the organization. And we're going to be looking at SAP implementation. That's exactly what we're talking about. Now, let me tell you about the business. So, like I say, I do a lot of contract work with companies in the UK. All right. Now, this company is a startup, okay, and they're into med tech. So they're into technology for the medical space. Okay, so they started just a small company. They started we're just about less than 12 on the team when we started. The CEO, the 2 tech founders, all right, and some other people within the organization, just about 12 of us. Okay. Well, we were just servicing our clients in the UK. All right. It was just a short-term project I was working with them. All right. So we were just working for clients within the UK, right? So if you're in the UK, you know that the NHS is difficult for you to get appointments and all that. So they were creating a solution for people to get access to medical, medical help, over their mobile phone, over their tablet, over the internet, essentially. And they were doing very well. They raised so much money. Do you understand? They raised so much money. They were doing fantastically well. And, just looking at just the UK economy it became too small for them. All right. It became too small to say that, oh, this solution that we have, we can actually deploy it. So rather than wait, to just be in the UK, why don't we extend to other European countries? So within a span of less than a year or thereabouts, okay, because they raised money, they grew very fast, they started expanding. So they had another office in Ireland, they had another office in Germany, Italy. They started having small branches across European countries. All right. And if you know the EU region, all right, it is easy for you to implement your businesses across these regions itself. So we started opening small branches, organizations across different European countries. So the business grew very fast. Do you understand? But now, key things started happening. Okay, they experienced rapid growth, like I talked about. Okay, and things started moving fast. Something's happening in Germany. They just see the location. They just see the particular business. They just collaborated with a particular hospital. There are so many things that were happening. So the business grew very fast, and they were making so much money. Do you understand? So, but with growth led to so many issues within the organization. From the business that started with just about 12 people, in the span of almost 6 months, they had employed over 500 to 1,000 people across these regions. All right. So they grew very fast. Now, but with that growth, there was a lot of issues with the organization. Not issues that you start fighting, okay? But issues, internal data, data problems, information problems, and all that. And I'm going to walk you through that. So one of the major problems that I'm going to be talking about that led to the implementation of SAP was this. I'll tell you this exactly. Let's take it, this is the boardroom, or this is the management team. Now, we have the sales team, the head of sales team, that will come up to say that we sold over 200K products across Europe in the first quarter of 2023 and generated £500,000. So that's the sales team. The sales team is reporting their numbers to say that, oh, in the first quarter of 2023, we sold 200,000 products, okay, and we generated £500,000 in the first quarter of 2023. But now, the finance people will now say that, Mr. Sales, where did you get your numbers from? Where did you get these numbers from? This is a lie. This is a blatant lie. Okay. And the finance team will say that we actually sold, 180,000. All right. Let me now tell you this. They nicknamed the finance director, okay, Mr. Actually. So it's always countering everybody. Okay, it's always, oh, we actually. So they gave him a nickname, Mister Actually. All right. So the finance team said that, okay, the man said we actually sold 180,000 instead of 200,000 that the sales team was reporting. All right, and they generated £420,000 instead of £500,000. So there was always a rift between all other departments and the finance team. So, and most times in this kind of situation, you always go with the finance. You always go with the finance, director, because they are the ones that are in charge of the accounts. They are the ones that see the numbers. They are the ones that do the calculation, the computation, and so on. So the finance team always wins this argument. Okay. So there's always a rift between all of the departments. Even customer service will come again to say that, customer service, supply chain, logistics, they would say that, okay, look at supply chain is saying that all orders have been delivered and no outstanding payments from customers. So supply chain too is saying the same thing that, oh, everything is fine. We are perfect. We are on track. No issues with supply chain. Everything is optimized and all that. But finance team will come back to say, we actually, Mr. Actually, all right, Mr. Actually will come back to say that we actually have 900 back orders. So back orders means that somebody has ordered for something, but there is a downtime in terms of delivering a particular product, or either the product is not available, or something is wrong that ensures that that product has not been delivered. So the finance team is saying that we have 900 back orders and we have 15 payment confirmation that is still awaiting confirmation, payment confirmation. So, there was always this misinformation. There was always this, the information across all the departments were not always adding up. It was not becoming an headache. Okay. And that's because we grew fast. The business grew very fast. So, the team in Germany will be saying something, and the team in the other country will be saying another thing. The team in the UK will be saying something. The team in Ireland will be saying another thing. So there was a lot of miscommunication here and there. Do you understand? So the CEO went ahead to say that, all right, they said that we need to harmonize the business data. All right, we need to harmonize, bring everything together in one place. I want to be in the UK and be able to see what is happening in Germany, in Italy, in France. I want to see everything that's happening in Ireland just by being in the UK. I don't need to be calling somebody in Germany to be asking them, what are your numbers? What was your sales? What was your performance for this? I need to see everything. So, this was the main issue. This was like a pain point. All right. So the CEO does not know what's happening in Germany, doesn't know what the business opportunities in France, doesn't know everything was kind of like in silos. All right. In silos, everybody was keeping their own data. You have to be calling, you have to be sending emails and all that. So it was frustrating. Do you understand? You know how frustrating this could be for a CEO not to be able to know what's happening, how to make informed decision, and all that. So the CEO said that we desperately need a system that would harmonize all our business data in one single central location. All right. Now, we don't know how it was going to happen, but we know the CEO just said it to say that we can't deal with this anymore. We need everything in one central location. And this is an actual business. Like I said, this is my own personal experience. All right. So Shola is in a business analyst. So we need a business. We need. We are in need in this case. So all right. So anyways, we'll talk about that as we go on. Okay. But this was a business problem. So this now led to what we call gap analysis. Okay. So gap analysis. So we have the current state where we are at the moment, where the business exists at the moment, the current situation where we are. So the current situation, looking at where you are at the moment, you're currently just your let's put it in the personal stance, in the sense that look at where you are, okay? You are currently a banker, all right? The future state is you want to become a data engineer, you want to become a data analyst, okay? So the current state is you are currently a banker. You are working with one bank in Nigeria, or in Africa, or anywhere in the world, and you want to become a data engineer. So the future state is you becoming a data engineer, you becoming that tech professional that you want to become. Now, there is a gap between where you are now as a banker and becoming a data engineer. So that skill, you don't have it at the moment. That's the gap that would not make you become a data engineer. Okay. So in the business side now, let's put it to the business side. The current state is essentially this situation that we are finding ourselves, whereby data communication is a big issue. All right. So the communicating with the people from France, Germany, Italy, France, Ireland, the UK, it was difficult to understand what was happening in the business. It's the current state. Nobody knows what's happening in Germany. Nobody knows what's happening in Italy. You don't know what was happening. All right. So that's the current state. The future state is the CEO wants to see what is happening in all these regions at the same time. I don't need to call Efe Mena to say, Efe, can I get the information for the guys in the UK? You don't need to call Abayomi in France to say, Abayomi, where are your numbers? I'm still expecting your numbers. Or you don't need to send an email to Amaka to say, Amaka, please, send me France numbers. Okay, the numbers from France, the sales numbers from France. All right. The future state is I want to be in the UK. I want to be anywhere in the world. All right. And I want to see the numbers. I want to see what is happening in the business. All right. That's the future state. I don't need to be calling anybody. Future state, I want to see those numbers near real time, if not real time, what is happening in the business. So that's what we now call the gap. Okay. Looking at the current state where we have misinformation, information in silos and all that. And we have the future state where you want a central location that would house all the data for the business. All right. So now the third thing you need to look at is action plan. So your action plan is those things you need to start taking step by step that will take you from your current state to your future state. All right. So if you want to become a data engineer, all right, before the end of the year, you need to take certain actions. You need to take a class. You need to learn a skill. You need to do this. You need to do that. Those are the steps you need to take. All right. So basically, when you're talking about gap analysis, these are the key three areas you need to look at: the current state, the future state, and the action plans you need to take to get there. All right. So basically, let's take a look at this organization. Okay. Let's take a look at them. The current state, like I said, is data security and governance, nothing, zero. Okay. So in terms of how you send data, let's take, for example, the sales teams want to send their numbers to the finance team. They will send it via email. All right. Please kindly find attached our numbers for the first quarter. So you see, data is not secured. You sending an email with the company's information, the company's data it's not secured. Anybody can get those numbers and take it out. Do you understand? There is no governance, there's no security around business data. The second part is integration with third-party systems. Like I said, the business is growing. So, today they're working with this organization. All right. Tomorrow they're working with the NHS. Next week they're working with PwC. Next month they're working with another, so there's no integration with other business applications. All right. So it's difficult to integrate at the moment. There's no even system to integrate in the first place. All right. Scalability and future growth. All right. The business grew very fast. The Express Medicals grew very fast. Okay. But it can't scale beyond that because you don't know what's happening in Germany. How do you make a decision if you don't know what's happening in that particular region? Do you understand? How do you make a decision in France if you don't know what's happening? So you can't really scale. Okay. So that's the current state. So scalability and the future growth of the business is at stake. Now, legacy system and data migration also, those are the things that we're going to be talking about as we go on. So the future state for the business when they implement after implementing all this, all the changes they need to implement, they would have streamlined processes, enhanced data visibility, improved collaboration and communication. Very important. Improved collaboration. So if I know what is going through with the sales team, I can easily help out. Okay, to say that, oh, we need to implement this, oh, we need to do that. So I don't need to call the sales team to find out what's happening in the sales team. I can easily just go on the environment and see what's happening in the sales team, and I can lend some support. So that improved collaboration and communication is what the future state looks like, and enhanced resource planning. Basically, we'll talk about that as we go on. So to move from the current state to the future state, all right, the key question is, do we build an application or do we buy an application? Now, looking at this situation, what do you think we did? All right. Did you think we built or we bought an application? What do you think? Do you think we should build our own internal application or should we buy an application? Build. Okay. All right. Build. Build go. It go hard though. I'm not gonna lie you. All right, now it's gonna be too difficult to build. Okay. Build basically you are starting from scratch. Okay, you are literally starting from scratch. Now, this is like I said, this business it has grown. All right. Maybe you don't understand. Looking at the UK ecosystem, okay, looking at the UK, it's not just the UK. It is UK, it's the entire UK, all right? And you're looking at Ireland, you're looking at France, you're looking at Germany, you're looking at Italy and some other European countries that they open the, offices in. So to build an application that would be able to contain that volume of information, transactions and all that, it's going to take months, if not up to a year sometimes, to build that kind of application. All right. It's going to take so much time. So, and this is where the business analyst comes in, honestly speaking. Let me just introduce the business analyst. This is where the business analyst will come in to say that, Omo, we can't build an application. It's going to be very costly. First of all, we need to hire software developers. We need to hire product managers. We need to hire this. We need to hire that. First of all, that's the hiring aspect. Secondly, we need to, build an application. Do you understand? So, when you look at that volume of things that you need to do, it's going to be very expensive. Now, don't build something that already exists. Okay. So SAP is that application that we can use in the business. All right. So we can implement SAP. So SAP is that application that can solve our problem. All right. So now, let me just explain this build or buy again, one in another scenario. Okay. Let me ask you now, would you rather create your own body cream or would you buy body cream? Now, there are so many body creams out there. So why would you want to start, unless you have a special skin irritation or skin problem, then you can build your own, you can create yours, right? But if na normal skin, you just go outside to the off the shelf, they call it off the shelf, buy from the market, just buy. Do you understand? If that one does not suit you, you go to another application, test that one, and see the one you do. All right. You don't need to buy. You don't need to build something. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can actually just go and buy. Do you understand? So if it exists, you don't need to build yours. Literally, SAP has been in existence for a very long time. They have a very wide resources. All right. I think they're one of the biggest in terms, they should be the biggest in terms of enterprise resource planning. All right. And it's enterprise. When you say enterprise, meaning large organizations, like massive, big organizations. That's enterprise resource planning. All right. So basically, rather than building our own enterprise resource planning tool, we bought from the market. And what did we buy? We bought SAP. So when you say we bought, basically we subscribed, we implemented it into the business. Okay. So we went ahead with SAP. Now, all of you that have not heard of SAP, if you've not heard of SAP, okay, could you put a one in the chat? Let me see. So SAP is an application, okay, very similar to Salesforce. So Salesforce is actually a CRM tool. Okay, CRM is customer relationship management. Okay, so Salesforce is majorly for customers, customer facing, anything that has to do with customers, sales, and all that. That's Salesforce. So you have enterprise allows you to work across different aspects of the business. So HR, so Salesforce really doesn't deal with HR, finance, and all those things. Okay, it's majorly sales focused. Okay, literally by the name Salesforce, but it's also increasing in terms of the activities you can do with Salesforce. But enterprise resource planning basically means the entire. When you look at like an organization, it has different arms. You have finance, you have HR. So now let me just take it back to show you something real quick. All right, so you understand. So you see this ERP, you have finance, you have product, inventory, you have service, you have sales, you have human resource, you have purchasing, CRM, you have manufacturing and planning. You have literally every aspect of the business in one solution, inside one solution. All right. So you see, if you've ever heard of a solution that you can use across the entire organization, everything in one particular place. So it's harmonizing, puts everything in one place. So it's just like, I'm gonna put it, just a one system that houses everything that has to do with the business. Okay, that houses like a store, like a warehouse. Let me put it that way. Okay, like a store that houses everything that has to do with the business. So from sales to marketing to CRM to manufacturing to logistics to supply chain, everything is inside SAP. So SAP is very robust, very, very robust. It's like I said, it's one of the largest in the industry. So that's why we went ahead to implement SAP. So if you've never heard of SAP, don't worry. It's just a regular application that it's not, I won't say regular, all right, but it's an application we use in the business, all right, that you get to work with once you get started. So now what we're going to do now is very simple. Okay. What we're going to do now is very simple. We're going to be talking about the role each of these people played in SAP implementation in this particular project. So the CEO has said that, okay, you know what? We need a centralized application that would house everything. Now, what role do these people play in this particular project? We're going to be exploring it in the next maximum 20 minutes, okay? So now let's start with the business analyst. A lot of you are very confused as who is the business analyst? Okay. A lot of people think the business analyst and the data analyst, their work is almost the same thing or the same thing. It's not. Entirely very different, two worlds apart. Very two worlds apart, honestly speaking. The business analyst and the data analyst do perform different activities. And let me explain it using this project. Now, the CEO has said that we need to implement an harmonized system. We need to implement a system that would house every information in one central location. Immediately, the CEO says this, all right? The business analyst is this person that will not take it on top of their head, carry it like those people that are hawking bread and eggs or whatever it is, all right, or granules. Business analyst is the one that will not carry that project and carry it on their head to say that this thing, we need to implement it in this business. All right. Now, first of all, that's what we call stakeholder engagement. Okay. So, the business analyst is the one that will talk to with the CEO to understand the pain points of the CEO. The CEO is regarded as a stakeholder. All right. Is a stakeholder within when they talk about stakeholders, all right, the CEO is one of the stakeholders within the business. So the business analyst will talk with the CEO, okay, CEO, okay, and we'll try to understand Egbon, Kilo Shele, waiting the sub. All right, CEO, tell me what is happening. More or less like trying to figure out what the pain point. CEO, tell me. You can tell me what is wrong with you. You can tell me the pain points. I'm gonna help you. You understand? You get me? Not in that manner, anyways, but you go shall talk to the CEO, say, CEO, yeah, me waiting to do, like, tell me what is wrong with you. Do you understand? And the CEO, that's part of elicitation techniques. We have interviews. Okay, interviews is one of the most popular ones to use. All right, where you talk to the CEO to understand the pain point. So the CEO will tell you, I need to know what's happening in Germany. I need to know what's happening in France. I need to know what's happening in these. I don't know what. I don't know. These people are not giving me the right numbers. I can't make any decision. I need everything in one place. Now, that is not technical. The CEO is not a technical person. He doesn't know anything about all this, all these things. It's a non-technical person. So he's saying that I need everything in one place. I don't know how you're going to do it, but get all the information. I don't want to call anybody. I want to be on my system and I want to see all this information on my system. Now, it's the business analyst that will now go backwards, understand what the CEO wants, and goes back to see how the CEO can actually get it. So the business analyst is this person that will now start running out of like exactly what I have here. The CEO, the business analyst is a bridge, acts as a bridge between the business stakeholders and the technical team. Now, the business analyst will go back to the technical guys, okay, the software developers, the data analysts, the data scientists, and all that to relay this information back to them to say that this is what the CEO wants. How can we get it to the CEO? All right. So these are the things they'll go through to see how they can implement it. So you see the gap analysis we talked about. The business analyst will be the one to understand the gap within the business. Okay, we draw out a process map. Okay, on how things happen at the moment. Oh, sales. If you want to confirm your sales leads, you want to confirm the sales activities. How do you do it? The business analyst is the person that will now document that process. Okay. Oh, the finance team. If you want to confirm payment, how do you confirm payment? The business analyst would also document. Do you understand? And these are the things the business analyst documentation. So when we are talking about a business analyst, you must be very good speaking with people. documentation. You need to be good with documentation. You need to be good with speaking with people. You need to be that people person. All right. So some of you might want to become business analysts. You need to figure out how you can't be antisocial, okay, and be a business analyst. It's honestly impossible. I won't lie to you. You can't say that I don't like talking to people. I'm going to be on my own. It's impossible for you to do that as a business analyst. So you're the person that will understand everybody, the pain points you know, from everybody's perspective, and draw out an action plan on how to solve this business problem. Now, this is a business problem, okay? And you're trying to create a solution to the business problem. So you say the first thing, conduct interviews and gather requirements from stakeholders regarding the existing processes. So you see you're gathering information, right? Conduct gap analysis, like I talked about, understand the current state, or understand the future state, understand how we can move from the current state to the future state. So you see, these are the kind of things that you're going to be doing as a business analyst. All right. So you see, what I have here, create user stories, use cases, user stories, and process flow diagrams to guide solution development. Okay. So that SAP implementation is the business analyst that first of all went out to see what was attainable in the business, what was attainable in the market. They chose SAP. Okay, they did a little bit of benchmarking, looking at what SAP can provide, looking at what Salesforce can provide, looking at what Sage can provide, looking at what other applications out there can actually do. So these business analysts looked at everything, all right, compared their resources, all right, their platforms, and ended up with SAP. Now, how do we implement SAP with this business? All right, how can we start to use SAP? So you see, you don't have to be the technical person. You're not a technical person, but you're working with technical people. All right, you're working with technical people. So you're the one that would, do all the implementation, guide people through. Look at the last part I have here, facilitate user acceptance testing. So when you're implementing, you are trying to get feedback from people to say that, oh, do you understand how to use it? How long, is it efficient? Is it inefficient? How can we make it better? Do you understand? Trying to ensure that people can use the application, and that application that you're using is solving the problem that you're using for. All right. So those are the things you need to look out. Those are the things you need to look out for. All right. So that's the role. That's the key role of a business analyst. Okay. So you are just conducting interviews, understanding business processes, understanding the pain points of the business, and trying to create a solution to solve that business problem. All right. And in this situation, you are just ensuring that all the data, all the information is in one central location. Now, the next is the data engineer. Now, data engineers have become high in demand in the market. They are actually one of the highest paid in the tech ecosystem, not just data ecosystem, but tech as a whole. All right. And let me use this situation to explain what a data engineer does. Now, if you've ever heard of data migration, okay, migrating data from one system to another system. Okay. Now, in this particular situation, they are moving data from different applications. Let's take, for example, the sales team at that point in time, they were using Sage for accounting, the finance team were using Sage to gather finance information, accounting information, and so on. Now, the sales team were using Zoho, okay, Zoho Analytics for capturing sales information and all that. All right. Supply chain were using another application. HR was using another HRIS application. Everybody was using different applications for the business. All right. Everybody, they use their own business application. So, it was difficult for you to know what was happening in finance because you don't have access to Sage. All right. So you don't know what's happening in sales because sales is using Zoho. All right. And you don't have access to Zoho. So how would you get their information in silos? Everybody was using their own application. Now, during the implementation of SAP, we want everything in one place. Everything was scattered before, but we want everything into one particular place. Now, it's the data engineer, okay, that would design the data architecture, okay, the data infrastructure that would now start to move data from Zoho Analytics into SAP. That will design another pipeline, data pipeline, that will move data from Sage to SAP. That will move data from other applications that are used that is being used in the organization into SAP. All right. So it's just like, it's just like a facilitator, but this is a technical team. This is a technical person that will be using, different tools to be able to move data from one application to another application. So, now the CEO wants everything in one place. Okay. So the data engineer is the person that will build what we call data pipelines that would move data from different applications, from finance into the SAP, from HR into SAP, from sales into SAP, from logistics into SAP. Everything has to enter into SAP. So that's the data migration project. So inside this SAP implementation, we also add data migration projects inside SAP implementation. So we're moving data from all these sources into one source. Okay. And that's essentially, part of the role of a data engineer. Okay. So so exactly what we're talking about. So that's the role of a data engineer. So building pipelines, building data pipelines, okay, that will move data from one source to the other into one central location. So it's more than that, but I'm just using this project to explain it to you to understand exactly some of the roles of a data engineer. All right. Now, the next part of it is data analytics. Now, this is the one that a lot of people are familiar with. A data analyst, data analyst, data analyst. Now, the data analyst in this kind of project, okay, is the person that would start to confirm if the data is correct. Now, the data engineer will move data, finance, into SAP. Who is this person that will confirm that this data is correct or wrong? The data analyst. So the finance numbers, okay, the data analyst will analyze the numbers, all right, analyze the numbers in SAP, okay, and see if they match to say that, oh, this is perfect, this is good. Oh, the last data that you pulled was correct. Oh, the last data you moved from HR. HR is saying 50,000, SAP is saying 29,000. There is a mismatch. Please figure out how to, make those numbers match. So in this project, a data analyst is the one analyzing the data from two systems to see that, oh, the numbers in SAP versus the number in this place, it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, they escalate to the data engineer to say that, oh, something is wrong. Okay, could you get, more data, or could you run it again to ensure that you're pulling all the data as possible into SAP? So all those things are the things the data analyst will be doing. Like I said, there is so much more that the data analyst will be doing. All right. So the data analyst is also going to be using the data from SAP to do analysis, okay, build dashboards for the CEO. So the CEO wants to see everything that is happening in the business at a glance, okay? At a glance, he wants to see what's happening in the business. Is the data analyst that will build a dashboard, okay? That will tell, oh, this is the sales performance for, the guys in Germany versus what's happening in Italy versus what's happening in different parts of the world, all right? Different parts of Europe, essentially, right? We'll be the ones to build these dashboards and all this to, track certain KPIs. So if the sales target was $500 million, okay, 500 million pounds, I mean, all right? So you see the data analyst will be the one to be tracking sales and do a dashboard that will be able to track to say that, oh, as a first quarter, they made 100,000. So, for the rest of the year, they still have 400 million, 400 million pounds to go, so on and so forth. So it's a data analyst that will be analyzing the data to come up with insights and also to track certain KPIs within the business. All right. So it's basically data analysis, analyzing data, coming up with insight, coming up with, data storytelling, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, the HR personnel is the one also. This is like a data analyst within the HR ecosystem. And this is somebody that has data analytics skills and understands human resources. Now, let me tell you something. In every business, all right, there are three things that drive every business. There are three key things that drive every single business. Now, we have the people, okay? We have technology and we have process. Okay, these are the three things that drive every business out there. These are the things that drive businesses. Elijah, do you want to just take a step back on this, on the what do you call it, on the attendance, so that people can actually, just listen in? So what we're going to do is, if you are the attendance, please, you need to you need to fill the attendance in order for you to get the recording. All right. So you need to fill the attendance and wait to the end. So there's a timeline that we're going to be looking at to send the recording. All right. So please just take out time. Okay. So the HR person, in like I mentioned, the three things we're going to be looking at for every business that drives every business is the people, the process, and the technology. So, and the HR analyst is the person that is in charge of the people, all right, and it's the people that really drives technology and the process. Okay, it's the people that drive the technology and the process. So, without good people within the organization, it is impossible for you to have anything good within the organization. So the HR analyst in this kind of project, okay, is the one that will analyze people's performance, okay, that will analyze people's performance on the project or, in the implementation phase of the project and so on and so forth. So you see anything that has to do with people, all right, people analytics. Now the HR landscape used to be very, very, used to be a cost center. HR used to be a cost center, so people really didn't see HR as, let's invest our money in HR. Do you understand? Businesses never took HR as a point of what got investment. But now HR has moved because of data. HR has moved to become a strategic business unit. All right. Because if you're looking at the three key areas, people, process, and technology. Now, who is going to drive process? It's the people. Who is going to use technology? Also people. So you need to be able to measure people perfectly in order for you to have good processes and leverage technology a lot more. So the HR analyst is the one that will analyze, understand people trends, understand people data, anything that has to do with people so that they can make informed decision to keep people, to retain people, to certify people, to keep people engaged within the organization. And the HR analyst is this person that will be in charge of that. Okay. The financial analytics professional, every business makes money. They are trying to make money. And like I said, even during the project, okay, before we implemented ASAP, anything the finance person says goes within the business. Anything they say. So if the salespeople say, "Oh, we did 500,000," and the finance team says we did 450, nobody's going to believe the sales over the finance. All right, and that's because they are in charge of money. They're the ones that see the money come in, go out, inflows and outflows. So the financial analytics professional is this person that would use data analytics skills in order to analyze financial data. All right. Now, the finance has moved away from bookkeeping to do. I want to do bookkeeping and all those things. It has moved away from that. We have financial modeling. We have sensitivity analysis. We have scenario building. So these are people that have finance knowledge. All right, and they're using data analytics inside the finance knowledge. All right. So you see, finance people is not just finance anymore. It's not financial analytics because you're using data analytics tools to analyze financial data to come up with insight about finance data. All right. So it's not just you recording to say that, oh, we made money last month, but you need to be able to do descriptive, diagnostic, predictive analytics on financial data. And now this very simple financial modeling, valuation, so on and so forth, and that's the things you'll be doing as a financial analyst. Okay. Now, the other part of it is the full stack data scientist. Now, with this particular project, the CEO wanted to, what was sales projection towards the end of the year? We want to start to forecast. We want to forecast. We want to know what's happening. So the CEO wants to know what was happening, okay? But he also wants to know what will happen in the business. What would happen at the end of the year? What would sales number looks like before the end of the year? So it's not just knowing exactly what is happening, but also what will happen. So the data scientist is this professional that would use machine learning, statistical modeling, to be able to forecast, to be able to know what will happen in the future. So if you're going out tomorrow, if you're living in Canada, in the US, in the UK, most guys in Nigeria don't use the weather app. But you guys, if you're in all this, Canada, US, UK, and all that, you use the weather app to know what the weather is going to look like for tomorrow and even sometimes for the whole week. Okay, why are you looking at the for the whole week? Okay, it will help you plan better the kind of clothes you want to wear. If you have to go out with your umbrella, you need to look for the umbrella ahead of time in order for you to have it, before you go out and all that. So essentially, this same business wants to know what the sales number would look like towards the end of the year. Okay, so that they can plan better, so that they can have stock, they can stock up on products, materials, so on and so on. All right. All right. Why now? We do use the weather app. Okay, no, my bad then. So that's the role of the data scientist. The data scientist is this person that does predictive analytics to predict what will likely happen. All right, what's going to happen in the future? These are sales numbers in Germany. This is currently, if you're looking at the sales in Germany, if you continue at this trajectory, this is what the sales will be at the end of the year. All right, so these are the things that you need to do: forecasting, predictive analytics. That's the role of a data scientist. Now, the next person is the Power Platform engineer. Power Platform engineer. Okay, the Power Platform engineer is an automation specialist. All right, automation, anything that has to do with automation. So if you look at your work on a day to day, all right, when you look at your work day to day, all right, looking at this particular project, majority of the things can be automated, all right. So you can use the power, and it's going to be using the Power Platform. Now, a lot of people know the Power Platform. A lot of people know Power BI, but you don't know that Power BI is part of the Power Platform. Okay. A lot of people think Power BI is just a standalone tool. It's a standalone tool. Okay. A lot of people think it's standalone is on its own, but people don't know that it is part of the Power Platform. So, the Power Platform engineer is this person that implements automation, using Power Apps, using Power Automate, using Power BI, using Power Virtual Agent, using Power Pages, and so on and so forth, in order for them to automate, all right, certain business processes within the business. All right. It goes beyond automation. It goes beyond, building, it goes into building apps without coding. And that's the best part about the career part. You don't need to code to build application, web and mobile application, to build automated flows and all that. So that's the role of the data engineer, Power Platform engineer, automating business processes. So rather than going to work and be sending emails, you can automate the sending of emails. Rather than going to work and be confirming sales numbers, also the same thing. Now, because I mentioned that this business grew very fast. So we had quite a number of customer calling in either for complaints reason, either to complain or to ask about information or ask about things. So the Power Platform engineer was this person that built a chatbot, an AI-enabled chatbot that was able to interact with customers. So rather than the business hiring more salespeople. So at that point in time, I wanted to start to hire sales, they wanted to hire more customer service representative. All right. So rather than doing that, the Power Platform engineer designed a chatbot, a virtual chatbot. So even when the customer is chatting with the chatbot, it feels like the customer is chatting with the customer service representative. A majority of you don't know this. So if you go online and you see somebody's online, you see like one pop-up will come up like a chat, and you see Kemi is online and Kemi is chatting with you. Most times it's a chatbot. All right. So it's been automated. So this chatbot was AI enabled to be able to chat conveniently with the data, with the customers, with the sales team, with the customers, with people that have complaints, and so on and so forth. So that's the role of the Power Platform engineer. There are so many things they can do. They can create chatbots, they can build applications, mobile and web applications. They can build web applications, they can build websites, so on. And the cool thing about Power Platform engineer is you are not coding. No code. It's a low code, no code application. So you're not going to be doing any form of coding. And these are all high paying tech career jobs. So I can see some questions. I think it's the data engineers and data scientists and business analysts. I'm not sure why this is a question. Okay. Okay. Now, the key question now is, how do you get started in this role? We've talked about all this career path, business analysis, the mediator, the person that knows, that is a link, a bridge between the technical stakeholders and the non-technical stakeholders within the business. So it's the person that is mediating, a middleman, basically looking at how to get things done, make the business processes more efficient, so on and so forth. The data analyst, the one that is analyzing business data to keep track of trends, to track KPIs, that's key performance indicators within the business, to see how we can improve our numbers, the issues happening with the business, so on and so forth. Financial analytics professional analyzing financial numbers, do financial modeling, build your financial forecast, so on and so forth, to be able to tell, financial data storytelling. Now, HR analysts, you are analyzing people within the organization to tell a story about the people. How can we make people more happy? How can we make people engaged? How can we get people not to resign? How can we analyze people's performance and improve the performance? Data scientists doing more predictive analytics, you doing forecasting, you doing machine learning to do predictive analytics and so on. The data engineer, also the person that builds data pipelines to move data from one location to the other location. So you're just moving data and ensuring data is clean, ready for analysis and so on. The power platform engineer, the automation specialist, automating business processes, automating anything that can be automated. Take, for example, like the chatbots, created a chatbot. So rather than using different customer service representative, you can create a chatbot that can talk to millions of customers at the same time. So automating that particular process using chatbots. You could also create an application that would automate another business process. You could create a website that could automate another process. So the Power Platform engineer is an automation specialist. And the cool thing about Power Platform is it's a low code, no code application. All right. All right, so people are asking question around. So now, which of these career paths are you interested in? So if you want to know more about each of these career paths, what career paths are you interested in? Let me see you can put it in the chat. What career paths are you interested in? What career paths are you interested in? Data engineer and data analytics, fantastic data analytics, full stack data science, HR analytics, data analytics, HR analytics, HR analytics, data engineering. All right, fantastic. I love this. I love this. Business analysis. All right, business analysts. I think data analytics guys are the ones moving. Okay. All right, they're the one leading. But anyways, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be. Like I said, all these career paths, we're going to walk you through to get started. Okay, and also the salary. All of you are talking about the salary. Who are the highest paid? Who are the highest paid? All right. So if you're looking at it based on highest paid, you also need to look at interest. All right, and that's why I asked you what was your interest. All right. So yeah, fantastic. I love this. I think you guys, your energy is super, honestly speaking. Your energy is absolutely super. So for people that are still trying to make a decision between data engineering and power platform engineering, it's fine. We're going to walk you through what you need to get, what you need in order for you to get started. And I'm going to be bringing in Adeza to walk us through what we need to do to get started in these roles. All right, so I'm going to hand over to Adeza, and Adeza will walk us through. Hold our hands, and cross the road for us. Okay, so Adeza, I'm going to hand over to you. Is that okay?
All right, brilliant, fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Ife. At least I saw some people that selected business analysis and financial analytics. So that gives a little bit of diversity in the different career path that you'd love to get into. All right. So if he has done a fantastic job, explaining in detail using a case study, a real life case study on the different career path, the 7 of them. But I want us to remember something. Okay, all the different career paths are based on 3 key criteria. The first criteria is easy to learn. The second is easy to transition and get a job. And the third criteria is easy, high and rewarding salary. All right. So irrespective of the career path you decide to go with, you'll be rest assured that you are going to command very good remuneration in the job market eventually. All right. So I'll quickly walk you through the skills you need to learn. How do you break into any of these areas? As a data analyst, as a data scientist, as a Power Platform engineer, as a data engineer, how do you break in? What are the skills you need to learn? And what is even that more important, skills that you also need to add to your technical skill? And this is one thing we always emphasize every single time we get the opportunity to. Learning the technical skill is not enough. There are too many brilliant people I've seen. They have the technical skill, but they cannot get a job. Why? That's the question. And that's simply because they haven't been able to position themselves appropriately. And I'll show you all the things you need to put in place. The technical skill, 50%, and the other aspect, 50%, to ensure that you are competitive and you stand out within the job market and you get opportunities that are available, because opportunities within the space are absolutely enormous. All right, so let's get into it. I'll just share my slide very quickly, and then we'll dive into the different career path and the skills that you need to get started, in addition to what would stand you out from the competition. Okay, so we have 7 different career paths, and we'll start with the business analyst. So as the business analyst, like Efemena, explained, you are the bridge between the stakeholders and the development team. You do the analysis and see where the gap is. All right, we want to implement a new solution, or we have to implement. How do we know that we need to implement a solution? The business wants to get somewhere. They want to achieve their objectives. This is where we are, our current state. Now, we need to get to a particular state, which is the future state. But for us to get there, there are a couple of things we need to do. Our current system lacks a couple of things, all right? We need to cover that gap in order to get to the future states. And that's what the business analyst does. So first of all, before you even dive into the business analysis career path, which is broken into 3 different layers, and I would explain the 3 layers as a business analyst. As a business analyst, you would have skills in data analytics, number 1. You'd also have skills in project management, number 2. And then you'd have your core business analysis skills. And those are the 3 layers for a business analyst. Now, Excel, Power BI, and SQL for data analytics. That's the very first skill you need to learn as a business analyst. So how do you interact with data? How do you make sense of the data that the business has? Now, while this is not your fundamental objective as a business analyst, you also need to have the skill, because employers today across the major economies in the UK, in Canada, across Africa, in Nigeria, in Ghana, they require a business analyst that knows how to use Excel, knows how to use pivot tables in Excel to summarize data, create charts, create dashboards, knows how to visualize data using Power BI, and also knows how to interact with databases using SQL, structured query language. And this is something that for anybody who interacts with data at any point in time, SQL is a fundamental skill you need to have. So that's the very first layer as a business analyst. You're going to learn Excel, you're going to learn Power BI, you would learn SQL, structured query language. You then move into process mapping. All right, process mapping is where you simply come up with a diagram that shows the current process within a company. For us, for a customer to order an item from our business and get that item delivered, what are the different activities that needs to take place or that needs to happen? From how the customer orders, where does the order go to? Does it go to the order team? Does the order team need to send an email? Or will somebody need to enter something into the system? What are the different activities that happens when a customer places that order? The business analyst needs to map out that process so that you know where to optimize. Oh, here we have some possible inefficiencies. It is a manual process. We need some level of automation. All right. So to understand the end-to-end process, the beginning, how the process starts and how the process ends, you need to map out the process. So process mapping is absolutely important for a business analyst. And you'd learn how to use different tools to do your process mapping: Lucid Chart, Draw.io, Microsoft Visio, which are some of the tools you'd learn as a business analyst. All right. Now you move into project initiation planning. And this is the second layer of your what? Project management skills as a business analyst. You're going to initiate a lot of projects because you have mapped out a process. You've looked at the end-to-end process. You've identified areas that needs implementation, areas that need automation. All right. The different teams that would come together to either build that software or buy a software off the shelf and ensure that it meets the requirements of the company, you need to set up a project to complete and drive the implementation of that project. And as a business analyst, you are responsible for doing that. All right. And you'd also have to track all the different requirements you gathered at the beginning and ensure that the project eventually meets all the requirements for that particular project scope. And you'd use different tools to manage your projects, from tools like Trello to tools like Jira, and so on and so forth for your project management, your project tracking, and all of that. You'd also learn Agile and Scrum methodologies also for projects. All right, because as a business analyst, you would manage a lot of projects, like I mentioned, and then you move to software development lifecycle. This is where you understand when you have to manage a project that involves the development of a software or the building of an application. How does it start? From the planning stage to when you start to build, how you maintain, how you test before you maintain the software, and so on and so forth. So the entire cycle of the software development phases, you need to understand that to drive a successful implementation of a development of a software within the company. That's also very critical. The requirement fundamentals. This is your bread and butter as a business analyst. You're going to sit down with different stakeholders, understand their requirements, the different applications you need to build. What do we need to have, designed for this particular application? Do we need customers to download an app, enter their details, order for an item on the app, and what's the flow from when the customer orders to when we deliver to that customer? You sit down with different stakeholders, understand the requirements, gather the requirements, come up with the business requirement document. And this is all about your requirements engineering, requirement fundamentals, and so on and so forth. You'd also learn elicitation, the right type of questions to ask, interview sessions, meeting with people to get information from them. Because as the business analyst, remember, you are that bridge. You are that person that controls the two facets of the business itself and the development team. So you need all the information possible. And you get this information through elicitation and so on. Stakeholder analysis and engagement. You'd work with different stakeholders across the business, from heads of department to the CEOs to the different chiefs, the CFOs, and so on and so forth across the company. So you need to know how to manage your stakeholders. You need to know how to communicate to your stakeholders using different tools like Slack for communication, Microsoft Teams, and so many other applications. And you'd also learn ChatGPT for business analysis. And like I always mention, at every opportunity possible, you have new technologies coming up today. There's a new trend in AI. You have large language models, ChatGPT, Llama, Bard, and so on and so forth. How do you position yourself as a business analyst with these new trends coming up? So you're going into an interview and you have the understanding of how to leverage tools like ChatGPT to make your work a lot seamless. How do you become more efficient by leveraging tools like ChatGPT? And I would love to know if you've used ChatGPT before for work, not to test or see how it works, how the language model works. I want to know if you've used it before in the workplace to solve a problem. Type a yes into the chat. Just type a yes into the chat if you've used it before. Okay, so Tolu says yes, Johnson says yes, Engineer Babajide says yes. Brilliant, fantastic. ChatGPT is a fantastic tool, absolutely phenomenal. Even the free to use is fantastic. And then you have a paid version, which is 10 times, more fantastic than the free version. I'll tell you for a fact. So you'd learn how to use these tools as a business analyst to make your work a lot more efficient. For me personally, I call ChatGPT my technical assistant. I have something bothering my head. I really don't know how to start. I type it into ChatGPT and I get a feedback. You'd also learn how to use the skills like that. You'd also learn tools like Confluence for collaboration and so many other tools involved within the business analysis career path. In the UK, how much do you make? Because this is a major concern for a lot of people. How much do I tend to command in the job market? How much do I earn? And this is the average. Average meaning that it could be a lot higher and not likely going to go lower than what you see here. On the average in the UK, you have £52,500 per annum. In Canada, is about 74,000 Canadian dollars. And in the US, you earn about 85,000 US dollars. And how do you become a business analyst? What does it take for you to learn all these skills, for you to apply the skills in a project-based environment? You have 3 months. And people ask the question, oh, how long does it take for me to transition? Can I start learning today? When do I implement my skill? You implement on the go. And that's the beauty of what we offer at Analytics. You are not learning by watching videos, not the conventional way you are used to learning. And the reason is we call it experiential learning approach. You are learning through experience. You are working on real life projects Ephemena has worked on before, projects I have worked on as well for different companies in the UK, across the US, and so on and so forth. But we've converted the different projects not to, we've, put it in a way that we address all the privacy issues, the privacy concerns, and you cannot tie any particular thing to any company anywhere that we've worked with before. So you learn in this particular environment where you're working on real life projects for 2 months, and then you have your 1 month free virtual internship. So for everything you do in class, you get to work on a project, you implement the skill, because these are the things you do in the real world as a business analyst. You're not going to move into the business analysis role, and then you are thinking of, how do I approach this particular problem? This would not be new to you because you would have done that well in the past during your learning program with us. So 3 months is all it takes for you to get into business analysis. And you learn in a project-based environment for 2 months. And I'll show you some of the projects we're going to work on. I'll show you the current cohort that is going on. They started in August. On the 5th of August, you'll see some of the projects that they've already worked on as early as within the space of in less than a month, what they've been able to do in the business analysis program. So this is what it takes for you to get into business analysis. You don't need coding, and it's a fantastic career path for anybody starting their journey in the tech ecosystem. In the UK, in Canada, a lot of people, in terms of jobs, you'd see a lot of jobs in Canada, for example. For those who go for their masters in Canada, they moved through the PR route. A lot of the people that come into Analytics, they learn with us, they get jobs easily as business analysts. And this is also one of the roles in the UK that commands the highest possible salary, highest average salary without a degree. So if you don't have a degree, for example, and you're looking for a role where you can get a job and you can still earn higher than people that have a first degree, business analysis is the place to go. All right. And a lot of questions I also get is, can I work remotely? Do I have to be in the office? How do I do my stakeholder engagement? How do I get to meet people? How do I set up my Scrum ceremonies? How do I do my brainstorming sessions? Everything can be done virtually on Teams, using Zoom, and so many other applications. And you'd work together in groups during your learning program and implement all these tools. And that's the best way you get to be a business analyst. All right. I'm going to take questions when I'm done going through all the different programs. So make a note of your questions, send them into the chat, and then I'll take the questions as we move along. All right. So let's move to the next career path, which is data engineering, right? A lot of people have said, oh, data engineering, I want to do data engineering, data analytics. As a data engineer, your role is super in terms of demand. The role is so high in demand that you really don't have, data engineers that started out as data engineers. A lot of the data engineers you'd find today are data engineers that transition from software engineering. So as the demand for data engineers started to go on the rise, especially stemming from the COVID lockdown and so on, some of the resultant effects from COVID gave more prominence to the data engineering role. And as a data engineer, what do? You move data from different systems, different locations into a central location so that everybody can access that data. The data analyst, the data scientist, the business analyst, the HR analyst, the financial analyst, they can get their data from a central location. That's the role of the data engineer. Now, for you to do that, you need to have very good understanding in some data engineering fundamentals. So you start with introduction into data engineering. What's data engineering all about? Why do you need data engineering? What are the tools? What are the skills you need to get to be a data engineer? You start with all of that in the introduction to data engineering. And as a data engineer, SQL is your bread and butter, all right? Because you need SQL. And I'll say it again, structured query language. You need that to build your data warehouses, understand how to move data around, query your data, create your databases, your tables, and so on and so forth. So SQL is very, very key. You'd also learn how to use Python. You use Python to create your data pipelines and so on. You need to understand Python programming, very key as a data engineer. You'd also learn how to use Linux. You'd build your custom ETL pipelines. You'd learn how to move data from different locations, from APIs, from websites, from different sources, and move them into your databases, your data warehouses, and create those pipelines that will move the data. And as you create those pipelines, you want to automate the process in a way that you don't have to do it all the time, run your codes all the time. So you schedule your different jobs so that the pipelines are automated and they move the data without your interference. You orchestrate and schedule using Apache Airflow and so on and so forth. You'd learn how to use Apache Spark, and then you'd also learn AWS cloud engineering. Okay, Amazon Web Services, which is one of the most prominent cloud-based system available out there across the US, across the UK, and so on. You'd learn how to AWS for cloud engineering, and you'd also learn version control with GitHub. So these are some of the tools you'll be learning. You'd also learn how to use draw.io to create your ERDs, your entity relationship diagrams. You learn how to use all these tools to make your work a lot easy as a data engineer. What does it take for you to get into data engineering? 4 months learning, project-based learning. So you have all these pipelines we've talked about, all the different sources that you have data. You will implement all those things every single weekend when you have your class. For 3 months, you are building these projects, you are building these pipelines, you are learning how to use SQL, Python, Linux, and all the different tech stack, the different tools that you need to transition into data engineering. And then you join our 1 month internship after your 3 months learning. Now, the 1 month internship, I can't overemphasize how important it is, because this is where you get to work together as a group, solving real life projects, okay? And we'll show you some of the projects that our current participants worked on and are working on at the moment for real companies that exist in real life. Here in the UK, for some of those companies, some of them are in Nigeria, and they're helping them solve problems. So for 1 month, we are working on those internship projects, and these are the things you would add to your portfolio. So when you get to the front of a recruiter, you're not speaking from the point of you've read this before. Oh, I've read this as a business analyst. I've read it in a book. No, you'll be speaking from the point of I've done it before. This is how I created my pipelines. You open up your GitHub profile, you'd show them your repository, your code, all the things you've built. Same as as a business analyst, you show them your portfolio, the different things you've built, your dashboard using Power BI, and so on and so forth. All right. And as a data engineer, the salary is absolutely phenomenal. And this is also due to the fact that the role is very high in demand. In fact, I get calls every other day. Myself, Efemena, gets requesting, to recommend people to join their team as data engineers. Last month or thereabouts, I got a call to recommend 2 people, which I did. All we had to do was very simple. We looked at people currently taking our programs and recommended them for those roles in Nigeria. And how much? Because people feel that, because some of the roles exist in Nigeria, they're only, the salary is only fantastic outside Nigeria, but that's not true. For this particular recommendation that we made, the salary was about 850 to 1 million per month. And this was the basic salary, apart from all other perks that came with the role. 850 to 1 million was the salary monthly. And this is for somebody starting their journey as a data engineer. In the UK, it's about 60,000 pounds per annum. In Canada, is 92,000 Canadian dollars. And in the US, 6 figures right off the bat, 114,000 US dollars. As a data engineer, this is what you'd be looking out for as your average salary, getting your first job within the space. And it takes you 4 months for you to transition. And that's the beauty of starting your journey in September. September is a crucial month, and we've been saying this for so many weeks, having all these free sessions. You start in September, you can complete the program, including your internship, before the end of the year, 2023, which would mark a significant achievement. So while you're doing the program, you start applying to jobs. And before you even wrap up the program, you're going into the new year, equipped with fantastic skills that will give you so many opportunities within the tech ecosystem. Now let's move to the next career path, which is data analytics. And of course, a lot of people have said data analytics, fantastic. I've been a data analyst for the most part of my career, and I'll tell you, it's the best decision I've ever made as a human being on earth, being a data analyst. It's a fantastic career path, and it's something that will take you from, you don't need to have any experience. And that's the beauty of all the programs we offer. You don't need to have any experience. They are built with the beginner in mind. We assume that you don't know anything. So you start learning your skill as a data analyst from problem solving. That's your fundamental objective. A data analyst does not exist in a company to build charts, Power BI visualizations, dashboards, and so on and so forth. You know how to use Excel. You're an Excel guru. No. Your business in any company as a data analyst is to solve problems and help that company answer questions. And how do you understand, or how do you know that there's a problem? How do you break the problem into multiple parts and solve those different parts exclusively so that at the end of the day, you solve the entire problem? How do you get to the root cause of the problem? What type of techniques do you use? What approach do you deploy in any analytic environment? You deploy the CRISP DM framework. CRISP DM, cross-industry standard process for data mining. Cross-industry standard process for data mining. This is the framework you deploy in any analytic project you have to solve. All right. How do you understand these techniques? How do you know what to use? And that's what problem solving is all about. This is where you learn the nitty-gritty. You define your problem statements. You know how to break your problems into parts. You know how to use different techniques. What tool do I need to solve this problem? All right. So that's the very first thing you learn. And then you move into Excel, the almighty Excel. Everybody always feel they know Excel until they join our data analytics program, and they realize that, wow, I thought I knew how to use Excel, but there are so many things that you probably would not know exist in Excel that you would learn as a data analyst. All right. So you learn how to use Excel to manage your data, get the data, summarize the data, create your pivot charts, create your dashboards, all in the aim to do what? To help the company know what happened and why it happened. Why did we have a dip in our revenue? Why do we have an increase in revenue? Why is our expenses increasing, or why is it decreasing? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? These are the questions the data analyst would help to answer using data. So this is not based on sentiment. It's not based on what I think and what I feel. It's based on what the data says. And that's why, as a data analyst, one of the major questions Efemena asked at the beginning, which is, you'd be at the heart of innovation. All right, when you get into the tech ecosystem, as a data analyst, you are at the heart of innovation. I love being at the heart of innovation, and I'll give a bit of my experience. Now, some of the things that as a data analyst you stand to enjoy is everybody would want to listen to you when it's time for your presentation, during your monthly performance review and so on, or your quarterly performance review. Everybody wants to know what you have to say because you know how to use the different tools like Excel, SQL, Power BI, Tableau to analyze the data. You see what others cannot see, and then you come up with recommendations. That puts you in the spotlight. When I worked for all the companies I worked for, even while I was in Nigeria, we always got, exorbitant bonuses. In my team, the bonus was always phenomenal. Why? People looked at us as superstars. These guys, they know everything. They know what is happening in the business. They know what we need to do, and so on and so forth. And that's the beauty, the role of a data analyst. So you learn how to use all these tools, Excel, SQL. Again, structured query language is a standard language you use to interact with databases. You can't run away from SQL if you are going into anything related to data. You can't run away from it. It's absolutely important. Then Power BI and Tableau. A lot of people would ask the question, if I learn Tableau, do I need to learn Power BI? Or if I learn Power BI, do I need to learn Tableau? For us, we saw that the demand in the market for these two different tools started to increase, in the sense that you'd find some companies that would say, we want you to know Power BI. You'd see other companies that would have a preference for Tableau. So we had situations whereby our data analysts would only focus on one type of job that requires Power BI, and they really can't go for jobs that requires Tableau. So what we did was very simple. Let's add the two different BI tools into the program. So you learn Power BI for business intelligence, you learn Tableau for data analytics and business intelligence. So you can apply to a lot more roles available in the market. And you also learn how to tell a story, data storytelling. Once you've analyzed your data, you've seen the things that other people cannot see. You need to communicate in a way that you can carry people along, because you would not make the decision. You're not the owner of the company, all right? You would help the owners of the company, the directors, take the decision that needs to be taken. This is where we have the problem. These are the reasons why the problem exists, and this is what we need to do to address those problems, all right? So you walk people through the story from where they need to look at the problem from, and how they need to get to the decision making where they would say, okay, let's go ahead and implement these recommendations. Without the ability to tell a story with your data, you tend to confuse a lot of people, and you sound very technical, and nobody understands what you're saying at the end of the day. All right, and that's data storytelling. Then you'd move into ChatGPT for analytics. Like I mentioned, this is one of the most amazing things that's happened within one of the new trends that I'll say has made life soft. Has made life what? Soft life. All right. As a data analyst, with the understanding of all the tools, all you have to use ChatGPT as your technical assistant. You need to ask questions. You leverage ChatGPT. All right. But the thing is, without the understanding of the tool, ChatGPT cannot help you. That's the sad part. It can't help you. All right. So to create that convergence where you are complementing your data analytics skills with AI using a large language model like ChatGPT, generative AI, you need to have the skills as a data analyst, and that makes work a lot easier for you eventually. And then you'd also learn Microsoft Fabric for analytics. Microsoft Fabric is also a new technology. It's a new platform recently released by Microsoft, which is simply an all-encompassing platform that contains so many aspects of the analytics value chain. All right. So you would learn the analytics bits, the data analyst parts of Microsoft Fabric, because Fabric contains a lot of Fabric items. All right. Part of the Fabric items includes data engineering, data science, and data analytics. All right. And why is it important for you to learn Fabric? It's important because a lot of organizations, especially the ones that have most of the applications in Microsoft Power BI, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft SQL Server Management System, and so on and so forth, they'll be moving into the Microsoft Fabric ecosystem. So it's important for you as an analyst to have an understanding of how the platform works. So that gives you an edge, and that shows that you're also in line with the trend of the new innovations within the space. How long does it take for you to learn to become a data analyst? 4 months. 4 months of intensive and immersive training program. Project-based classes for 3 months, and then 1 month virtual internship. All right. The virtual internship, like I mentioned, I can't overemphasize how important the internship is. And I'll show you some of the projects. You get to see what people are building. As a data analyst, your average salary in a month in the UK is about £40,000. In Canada, is about 64,000 Canadian dollars. And in the US, is about 72,000 US dollars. Higher rewarding salaries, absolutely phenomenal. And it takes you 4 months to transition. So you start in September, October, November. By December, you're wrapping up your internship. So you move into the new year with all brimming with new skills to hit the market, getting jobs in the data analytics space. And I'll be sharing some success stories of people who have come into our program, and today they are working with some of the biggest companies across the globe, here in the UK, in the US, in Canada, Poland, Germany, and so many other countries across the globe. Now let's move into the other area, which is HR analytics. I know I'm talking a little bit fast, and that's deliberate so that we can get to the end, and then I can take questions. We can have a conversation, interact, and I get to hear from you. If you have questions, I get those questions, and we get to address them essentially. All right. As a HR analyst or as a HR analytics professional, what do? You simply do the work of the data analyst. All right. But then you work predominantly with HR related data, with people related data. So you understand what drives the people. What are the key drivers? What are the metrics you need to look at with regards to the people in the organization? Femena talked about the 3 key drivers of any organization: the people, the processes, and the technology. Without the people, nobody to implement the processes. Without the people, nobody to also implement the technology that is embedded within that particular organization. So the people are a critical part of the business. So understanding what drives the people, understanding how to get insights from the people-related data that you have is absolutely important. You can't HR today has gone past the mundane task of monitoring and tracking leave and so on and so forth. So the systems that you have internally, your HR systems that contains very fantastic data on the people you have, your performance data, your absenteeism data, your training data, and so on. How do you analyze that data to get insights? How can you tell why people are leaving your organization? So you can find out the reason why they are leaving, and you have something called stay interviews. A lot of focus is always on exit interviews. And whenever I have the opportunity to speak to HR professionals, I talk about the stay interviews. Rather than exit interviews, why not stay interviews where you are able to identify the factors that leads to people leaving the company? What leads to attrition in your organization? If you identify those factors, can you then identify the employees that are likely going to leave? And then you have stay interviews with them and so many other areas that you can also track to ensure that you optimize the performance of the employees within the organization. So you're learning problem solving, right? You're also learning Excel, Power BI, SQL, HR analytics and performance evaluation, HR metrics and life cycle. You know the different metrics you need to track from your talent management, absenteeism, attrition, succession planning. How do you embed analytics into all of those areas? You learn how to create dashboards using different tools like Excel, Power BI, and you can tell at a glance what is going on in that company with regards to the people related issues in the organization, your collaboration and report automation. Some of these reports, you need to make them available every single month or every week. How do you automate the process so you don't have to do it and create it every single week? You learn how to automate that and building your case and creating action. All right. And how long does it take for you to get into HR analytics? And people ask this question, do I need to be in HR to get into HR analytics? The answer is no. You don't need any experience in HR, zero, because you would learn the different aspects of the HR, the talent management cycle. You would learn how to track the different metrics within the HR space. You would learn all of that. So you don't need any experience in HR. But if it's an area you want to dive into, and because it is a niche area, your skills are more highly in demand. Right? As a HR analytics professional, any organization would want to have you on their HR team. So 4 months, it takes you to get to become a HR analytics professional. 3 months, project-based classes. You are learning for 3 months, project-based, working on projects. And I'll share some of the projects, like I said. I'll show you the platform, all the programs. You'd see some of the projects people are building. And this is the difference. This is the game changer between the way you are used to learning and the way you need to learn today. All right. Ifemena said something very crucial, which is we've been in the industry for about a decade and we've worked with some of the biggest organizations. All right. And we've seen where a lot of people falter because we've also mentored people to making the switch and making the transition. You go on YouTube, and because information is available everywhere, you get people watching videos on YouTube for a year, for a full year, and they still cannot transition. They still don't know what to do. They've watched all the things that are unnecessary for them to watch, that they ignore what is actually critical for them to learn. And this mistake also stems from the fact that when they check one particular job description and they see a skill, they really don't know what that thing is, but they feel that I need to learn it. And they go back and they start to learn. Okay. Once they see that, they go back again, they check, they see another thing differently. And it's a cycle of you just learning without any direction. All right. So having that direction, that structured learning approach, you cut through the chase, especially when you're working with professionals that are in the space and they've done things around the HR analytics ecosystem. So you learn project-based for 3 months and then your 1 month virtual internship. How much do you earn as a HR analytics professional in the UK? About an average of £32,500 per annum, 71,000 Canadian dollars, and 62,000 US dollars. Fantastic salaries. Now let's move into the next career path, which is financial analytics. As a financial analytics professional, you are simply combining data analytics and investment banking into one, right? So you're not just a financial professional that focuses on what? Bookkeeping, like Ifemena mentioned. You are taking the skills to the next level. And the question around, do I need to have studied finance before? The answer is no. Do I need knowledge in accounting? The answer is no. You'd learn these things in class. You'll be taught the language of business, which is accounting, the fundamentals. You're going to learn accounting fundamentals. You're going to learn problem solving. You're going to learn Excel. You're going to learn Power BI. You're going to learn SQL. You learn the data analytics bits, and then you move into the core finance part of you being a financial analytics professional. Every organization needs that person to analyze their numbers, to tell them what are the likely scenarios in the future based on these assumptions. So sensitivity and scenario analysis becomes very key. How do we simulate scenarios that could play out in the business and plan to prepare resources and also to prepare based on our budgeting and so on? All right. You have your financial analysis, knowing the different ratios you need to look at in the business, financial modeling. You'll be building your financial models from scratch. You will decide on the business you want to model. I want to start the next Uber in Ghana, or I want to start the next Airbnb in Jamaica. All right. These are the assumptions. You build your financial model from scratch, and that's the way you learn. Okay. And I'll give you a very short story of somebody who she was in the program and she learned financial modeling. She completed our class. Now, she wasn't, having a conversation with a friend in the US who has a startup, and he was, complaining that he's been looking for somebody who can help him build a financial model. And she said, look, I'll do it for you. I know how to build. And he was surprised. And eventually they agreed, and she built a fantastic financial model for him, showing 5-year projection and even beyond that. Now, guess what? She got so many other jobs, and that was how she got her eventual, the job she's doing today as a financial analyst. That was how she got the job, because that's her friend who owned the startup introduced her to other friends within the tech ecosystem, and they also needed that particular service. Can you create a model for me? Let's see the scenario, and so on and so forth. Eventually, she got a full-time job as a financial analyst, working remotely for a company in the US. You learn how to value a business, valuation. I talked about sensitivity and scenario analysis. What does it take for you to get into financial analytics? How long do you need to learn? 4 months, 3 months project-based classes, and 1 month internship. All right. So you work in class. Like I said, your financial modeling class is so practical that you would come up with a business yourself. This is the business I want to start. I want to start a bakery. I want to start the largest poultry in West Africa. All right. You'd come up with the assumptions and you build the model under the guidance of the best professionals within the space, working with the big fours. They've worked with KPMG, PwC, and some of the biggest financial professional services organizations across the globe. All right. As a financial analyst, you are earning about £51,000 per annum in the UK, an average of 69,000 Canadian dollars, and about 74,000 US dollars as a financial analytics professional. You'd also learn ChatGPT for financial analytics, because like I said, for us at Analytics, the goal is to develop tech talents stemming from Africa, equipped with premium skills to compete for the best jobs out there. So you don't go into an interview, and the reason why you lose that interview is simply because you don't have the right skills for that job. All right, let's move into data science. We've talked about data analytics. We've talked about business analysis, data engineering, HR analytics, financial analytics. Now we move to data science, which is another fantastic career path. In fact, data science was dubbed the sexiest job of the 21st century by the Harvard Business Review. Okay, the Harvard Business Review. I can see so many questions coming up. I'll take all those questions, don't worry. I'll take all those questions shortly. I just want to go through this part of the slides, and then I'll take all your questions. So keep them coming. I'll take all those questions. As a data scientist, you are helping organizations, companies also understand what their data says, and also look into the future of what is likely going to happen. So you are doing a lot of prediction. And at the beginning, I saw somebody send a message to the chat that Tinubu needs to come to this class to learn data science so he can predict what the value of the dollar would be, against the naira in the nearest future. And that's simply what you'll be doing as a data scientist, looking into the future, forecasting, all right, creating predictive models, machine learning models, and these models being able to forecast and look into the future is hinged around statistics. You can't do that without statistics. So you need very key understanding of statistics to look into the future and forecast. So you learn forecasting and predictive analytics using Excel. So you're not just learning Excel to summarize data, build dashboards. You're also learning to what? Forecast and predict using different forecasting techniques, from exponential smoothing to the moving average technique, to the naive approach to forecasting, to linear regression, and so many other techniques like that. You'd learn how to use Tableau for data analytics and also predictive analytics. You'd learn SQL, structured query language, to interact with databases. I talked about SQL, the fact that you can't run away from it. It's absolutely important. Then you learn Python. Python is a language you'd use as a data scientist. This is what you'd use for your exploratory data analysis. You learn to use Python to build your machine learning models and also for computer vision. So you build amazing projects that can detect your face, projects that can detect your pose, project that can detect when you smile. And why is that important for you to understand? Now, if you look at my screen, I have a background at the back, but you can't see any other thing apart from myself. But I have stuff at my back. I have a bookshelf. I have my chair at the back, but you can't see it. You can only see my face and my hands and all of that. Why is that possible? It's simply possible due to a computer vision program that has been built to detect only the human being on the screen once you have a background on Zoom. And these are some of the projects you'll be building in the data science program as well. How long does it take for you to get into data science? 4 months, 3 months project-based classes, 1 month internship. And data science is also that career path that gives you one of the best and the highest salaries possible. Fantastic career path. In the US, it's 6 figures again, 121,000 US dollars. And the opportunity to work remotely is, all through the roof. You have so many numerous opportunities to work remotely for companies in the US, for companies across Europe. In Canada, you are earning about 94,000 Canadian dollars. And in the UK, it's about 50,000 pounds per annum in the UK. And you'd learn how to use all these tools, including ChatGPT for data science as well. You'd learn how to debug your codes using ChatGPT. You'd learn how to do things as simple as coming up with your data dictionary if you don't have one that exists, also using ChatGPT, and the possibilities are absolutely enormous. All right. So this is for data engineering. And we'll move to the last but not the least, which is Power Platform Engineering. Okay, so a Femena called the Power Platform Engineering the master of automation. The master of what? Automation. And that's what you'd basically be doing as a Power Platform engineer. All right, you'd learn how to automate processes. You'd build custom applications for your company. So let's take, for example, you have a company or you work for a company that has a very simple task or a very simple process that it needs to implement. Let's say a leave tracking system, for example, where employees can enter their leave days, and it goes to the next level of approval, it goes to the next level, and then you need an application for that. A Power Platform engineer can build it using what? Using a low-code, no-code development environment. That's the amazing thing about Power Platform. You don't need to learn the technical languages, the technical skills that a back-end engineer would need to learn. You don't need to learn all of that. You are building these applications using low code, no-code development environment. All right. So you would learn introduction to Power Platform. Again, Microsoft Power BI is also a tool within the Power Platform environment, but a lot of people don't know this. They think Power BI is a standalone. No, Microsoft's Power BI, the Power Apps, the Power Automate, and the Power Virtual Agents are all parts of the Power Platform. Microsoft Power BI for your data visualization to build your dashboards. You'd also learn SQL, structured query language, because you're going to work with data as well as a Power Platform engineer. You'd automate processes using the Power Automate. You'd also build custom applications using the Power Apps. And then you see those chatbots that you get to chat with. When you go to a website, something pops up and says, hello, do you have any question? Most of these chatbots are built using tools like the Microsoft Power Virtual Agent. And it's embedded using what? It's embedded with AI. So it gives you very intelligent feedback, intelligent responses that you think it's a human being chatting with you. You learn how to do all of that. Then Power Pages, which is you'd also use this in the Power Platform ecosystem to build websites and also web applications using low-code, no-code environments. You'd also build your case and create action. You'd learn how to use the AI builder to embed AI to the applications, to the automations you'll be creating across the different things you'll be doing as a Power Platform engineer. It's a fantastic career path. Fantastic. In fact, a lot of the Power Platform engineers that I know, they are so highly sought after that it's difficult for you to recruit one of them. You approach the market today that you want to recruit a Power Platform engineer. The demand is so much higher than the skilled resources available. You really don't find people with the skill as a Power Platform engineer compared to the demand of jobs available. And that's one of the things you want to look at when selecting a career path. Is there a demand for these jobs, for these particular job roles? And like Efemena mentioned at the beginning, and I'll just reiterate, for all the different programs we offer, last year at the end of 2022, we always do a holistic review and we scraped data across different job boards, the biggest job boards from the major economies across the globe, including Africa and the Middle East. And we did our analysis, focusing on the 3 criteria we mentioned as well. Looking at the demand, what are the jobs that are high in demand? Also looking at the World Economic Forum reports and using that as a basis. What are the jobs that are growing in demand and what are the jobs that are reducing or declining in demand? And you'd find out that all the 7 programs we offer are roles and career paths that in the next 5 to 10 years, you'd have so much demand for them. Over 85 million roles would be created between now and the year 2030, according to the World Economic Forum. Now, where are the Africans to get those roles? We leave a lot of these to the Indians who are doing fantastic work in equipping themselves and holding key roles across organizations. And we, the Africans, want to do the menial jobs. You want to work in the warehouse. You want to do the Deliveroo. You want to do the Deliveroo. You want to do Uber Eats. You want to do care. Why can't you do jobs where you can see a clear career progression? Work remotely. I don't want to move to the UK. I don't want to move to the US, but I want to work remotely from Nigeria, from Ghana, and get and compete for the best jobs out there. As a Power Platform engineer, you get to transition within 3 months, 2 months project-based classes, 1 month internship. And how much do you earn? In the UK, about £45,000 per annum on the average. In Canada, about 72,000 Canadian dollars. And in the US, another 6 figures, 110,000 US dollars. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so how do you learn? Because people ask the question, oh, do I learn physically? Do I need to drive, get to a particular location? I'm in Abuja, I'm in Egypt, I'm somewhere in Zimbabwe. How do I join? Do I need to come to Nigeria? Do I need to come to the UK? Your classes happen virtually. So your learning roadmap is so flexible between 3 to 4 months, so 3+ months, depending on the program you are joining. Power Platform, business analysis, you transition in 3 months. For the other programs, you transition in 4 months. And every program comes with free virtual internship, free growth internship, where you get to work on projects, in a simulated real-life environment. You get to collaborate with your different team members and solve problems. All right. So somebody's saying I should repeat the slide. So just tell me the question you have, and then I'll take the question. Okay. Again, you get to learn from the best in the industry. And I always say that this is the game changer. If you're learning from me, for example, I'll be sharing my experience with you. All right. When I worked with a company within the financial services sector owned by the CBN, the NDIC, and all the commercial banks in Nigeria, what were the type of projects I worked on? What did I do? What was obtainable in that industry? When I worked in energy for one of the largest energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa, what did I do? What was obtainable? What were the type of projects you get to work on? When I worked for one of the largest automobile companies here in the UK, helping them understand their data, what were the things that I did, and so many other projects. So it's a difference when you learn from people that are in the field, professionals that have done it before, professionals that have the experience, compared to learning from somebody that has watched a YouTube video somewhere, or has taken a course on Coursera, or has taken a course somewhere, and then that's the person that is teaching you to become a data analyst. It's a different ballgame entirely. So you're learning from professionals in the space, the best in the industry. Your classes are virtual, and you also get to join a communications group, either WhatsApp or Slack, where you get to interact not just with your other contemporaries, but also with your trainers, your facilitators, and your different data coaches and coordinators in that same group. So you have different layers of support in case you are stuck, because this is a major area that we have also seen as professional trainers. People get stuck, and when they get stuck, they tend to get confused and think the world is about to end and things are so difficult. So we've put multi-layered support systems to ensure that you never find yourself in a situation where you don't get your problem resolved. And I'll walk you through the multi-layered system of support. But one of them comes with your collaboration channels, where you get to interact on Zoom, Slack, your Google Classroom, and also on WhatsApp. All right. Your classes are also flexible. On Saturdays and Sundays is when you have your classes. All right. So you don't have classes during the week where you have to go to the office and you have to, you get, for those that are working and for those that are also doing their masters, you are likely going to have a busy week, 9 to 5. So you have your classes during the weekends. On Saturdays are when you have the live classes. All right. And on Sundays, you have something we call the Watch Me Do It videos, self-paced videos. So except your data engineering, your Power Platform, and business analysis, where you have classes on Saturdays and Sundays, all the other programs, you only have your live class on Saturday. All right. So I'll repeat it again. Business analysis, data engineering, Power Platform. You have your classes on Saturdays and Sundays live. All right. So you have somebody like myself, a trainer, a facilitator that will walk you through different projects on Saturdays and Sundays. Now, for the other programs, your data analytics, your data science, your financial analytics, your HR analytics, your only live class is on Saturday, where you have a trainer like myself in front of you, teaching you concepts, working on projects together. And on Sunday, you have the Watch Me Do It videos. And these are bite-sized videos that you get to watch. You practice what you see in the videos. You understand the concept. If you have questions, you ask in the group chats. You get your questions resolved ahead of the next class the following Saturday. So on Saturdays, you're working on projects, real-life projects, solving them together in class. So on Sunday, you have the flexibility at your own convenience to get to go through the class you have on Sunday, which is not a live class, which is a Watch Me Do It class. All right. And last but not the least, which is the most important bit, or let me call it the second most important bit of our session today. If you don't take anything from this session, you should take the next slide I'm going to be presenting to you. Okay, the next 2 slides, because this is the reason, or these are the reasons why people don't get jobs. They've been trying to transition for years, but they still cannot. I'll be sharing that with you. And these are the job and recruitment hack sessions that we put into place to ensure that people are able to transition successfully. And these are the reasons why we have been so successful in helping people transition from the classroom to getting their first jobs. All right. Again, I always tell you this, your technical skill is just 50%. And that's why people feel that I'm the best in Excel or I'm the best in Power BI. If I apply to a job, I'll get the job. And they are shocked when they keep on getting rejections. What are those things you need to take note of? If you have a pen, you have a notepad, please write this down because it's very, very crucial. The other 50% you need to equip yourself with, number one, is CV review. Okay, so how do you prepare yourself? How do you position yourself and represent yourself in the best way possible? In the best way possible. All right? Your CV is your representation in paper format. Have you represented yourself effectively? That when a recruiter sees your CV, they call you up for an interview. And some of the mistakes we've seen people make is using one CV to apply to 20 jobs. If you do that, please stop it. You will not get that job. All right. So the CV review session is where we show you the best practices of what to do and how to leverage tools that exist to do what? Match your CV with the job description so that you can tell to what level do you meet this job requirements. This company needs something. Do you have that thing that the company needs? You want to take a lady out on a date. You'd want to look good. You want the lady to see you and say, oh, I like this guy. All right. He's good looking. He smells nice. He's this, he's that. Those are the things I like in a guy. Okay. Same, every organization wants to see you and see certain traits and qualities in you. So how do you tailor your CV to match the requirements of that job? And that's what your CV review session is all about. If you haven't done this and all you do is throw your CV out and hope that one of them would stick, it would never happen. All right? Because every company uses the ATS, which is called the Applicant Tracking System. So immediately it looks at your CV and sees that you don't have the keywords required for that particular job role. You get a rejection email immediately. Okay, so how do you tailor your CV to beat the ATS system, to at least get your foot into the door for an interview? That's what your focus should be on. And it would show you how to use different tools to match your job, to match the job description with your CV. So you see your percentage match. Oh, I meet this particular job requirement by 60%. I need to take it up. What do I need to change in my CV? All right, these are the things we'll show you how to do. Again, LinkedIn optimization. Some people don't have LinkedIn profiles. You'll be shocked. I was actually shocked about 2 weeks ago. All right, somebody joined our program. All right, he joined our program. He needs to get a job and he's been out of job for quite a while. And that was the reason why he joined. And I've been working with him closely because his situation is a bit, peculiar. I've been working with him closely and I said, okay, share your CV with me. Let me have a look. Share the link to your LinkedIn profile. And it didn't have one. So you can't complain that you're out of job, you're out of work. You need to get a job. You're not getting called for interviews when you don't have social proof. You don't have something that shows that you've done stuff within the space. Social proof is absolutely important. People should look for you and find you. They should go on LinkedIn and find you. Just like everybody at the end of the call would likely go on LinkedIn and do a search, Adeza Suleiman, Efemena Ipro. Analytics, you would all go and search, oh, I want to know more about these people. And I would encourage you to follow us across all our platforms, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, across all our platforms. Follow us to see the amazing stuff we've been doing within the space. So you can't be looking for a job and say you are looking for a job without social proof. You need that. So if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, we're going to help you build one. We are also going to show you how to optimize. For those that have LinkedIn profile, but you have things all over the place, we'll show you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Again, I want to get a remote job. I want to work remotely. I want to earn dollars, even though I'm in Nigeria. I want to earn euros. I want to work for the biggest companies. But again, you don't know where to apply to these jobs. Where do these jobs exist? How can I get these jobs? How can I earn in dollars and spend in Naira? How can I earn in euros and spend in CDs? The best platform to do this is Upwork. Do you have an Upwork profile? No. If you have an Upwork profile, is it optimized to get jobs available? All right? Because these are processes that are painstaking. You need to get them done. You need to do this in order to compete for the best jobs out there. So we'll work with you to create an Upwork profile. We'll also show you how to optimize your Upwork profile to get jobs remotely, working as a freelancer across different locations across the globe. Number 4 is navigating the job market. If you don't know this, and this is where we take a lot of time and a lot of sessions on navigating the job market, because the job market is very dynamic. And I'll give you an example. I've studied data analytics and I see a role. So let me ask this question. If I've gone through the data analytics program, can I apply to a job that states database analyst? Yes or no? So I've completed data analytics and I've seen a job during my job search. I see a job that says database analyst. Can I apply to that job? Yes or no? Just type that into the chat. I'd love to know. Yes or no? Okay, I want to see more feedback. Fantastic. Aminat says yes. Depends on the required skill sets. Yes. Yes, because of Excel and SQL. Fantastic. Yes, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely fantastic. Let me ask another one, a different one now. I've gone through Analytics business analysis program. I've gone through Analytics business analysis program. Can I apply to a role that says business architect or that says change management analyst? Yes or no? Can I apply to a job that says business architect or a job that says change management analyst? Yes or no? Yes, yes, no, yes, yes, no, yes, 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 no. Yes, you can. Capital, yes. I love the person that said capital, yes. User PC. Capital, yes. You can. And these are the mistakes people don't know. To apply to jobs, you have so many nomenclature, different nomenclature across the different, career path and different roles available. You're not always going to see roles as data analyst. You'd see roles as business intelligence analyst. And I find it very interesting when people ask me, can I apply to a business intelligence role as a business intelligence analyst after I've learned data analytics? I find it interesting because all you need to do is look at the requirements of that job. And as a business intelligence analyst, you likely need to showcase that you understand how to use SQL and you understand how to use Power BI and some other tools for ETL. All right. Again, the examples I gave, as a data analyst, can I apply to a role as a database analyst? Yes, you can. As a business analyst, can I apply as a change management analyst or as a business architect? Yes, you can. People don't know this. You need to look at the job requirements. So when you see roles like that, don't say, oh, I don't know what business architect is. Oh, let me put this one aside. This business analysis me, I did. And people fall short in that regard. So you would learn how to navigate the job market. People are in the UK, they don't know that to transition from a tier four student visa or a dependent visa to a tier 2 skilled worker visa, it's a points-based system. You need 70 points to make that transition. They have no clue. They have no idea. And these are the things you would learn how to navigate the job market. Okay, I'm a student, or I'm a dependent. I want to transition, or I have a healthcare visa, but I want to switch into data analytics to a skilled worker visa. Is it possible? We've gotten this question so many times. All right. And these are the things you'll be learning, how to navigate the job market. So you're not left with you don't find yourself with a lack of information and follow what everybody who most of the time, 90% of the time, have no clue on what to do are telling you to do. Oh, the only way to get ahead is if you do the care visa. The only way to get ahead is if you do this. But that's usually the wrong information. And that's why we are saying that, look, there's so many other opportunities available within the space. All right. And these are the things you would learn during the navigating the job market session. References and recommendations, also very, very crucial. Very, very crucial. Organizations would want to see that there's a company, a reputable organization that can stand as a referee for you, that can say that they worked with you, they can vouch for your character. Without that, you'd never get your confirmation. It would not come. All right. You could start your work, but it will tell you that, look, we need three references. How do you get recommendations? And we write the most compelling recommendations for you to ensure that you get the job. Job and interview preparation session. Another area that so many people, the reason, if you sit down with somebody and you ask very simple questions, you know the reason why they haven't gotten jobs. Questions as simple as, can I get to meet you? Tell me about yourself. Oh, my name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm the first son of my parents. I'm from Kogi State in Nigeria. These irrelevancies are from these local governments, things that are not relevant. All right. Tell me about yourself. Who are you? The employer wants to know about yourself outside your CV in a summary. And you would learn during your interview preparation sessions how to use frameworks to help you prepare for questions like that. What are the likely questions you're going to get? All right. I currently have an interview preparation session with somebody tomorrow. He's gotten interview for a business analysis role, for a business analyst role. And he sent the job description. He sent the different requirements. I might show you this in my email, and you'd see all the requirements and the type of questions you're likely going to get. We work with you so you put your best foot forward when you get into that interview. When you're asked to introduce yourself, this is how you respond. Talk about your skills. I'm an expert in the use of Excel. I can build data warehouses. I can create the best compelling dashboards using Power BI. Talk about your skills. Experience. E, achievements. A, type of person. T, I'm a team player. I'm that person that would put myself forward to solve a problem once that problem exists and ensure that I follow it to its logical conclusion. So your skills, your experience, your achievements, your type of person, that's how you structure. Tell me about yourself. Questions around, in fact, if you don't know how to use the STAR approach, you can't work for any big company. Because when they ask you questions around, tell me about a time you've solved a problem using data, they expect you to use the STAR approach. That's the expectation. The situation, the task, the action, and the results. You tell your story using the STAR approach. And these are the things we bring to bear during your interview preparation session. So you go into that interview, because getting the interview, in my opinion, is 85% chance. You have an 85% chance of getting the job. Yes, it could not happen, but that's a step closer to you getting that job. So you can't go there unprepared. You can't go there fumbling when you get simple questions around introduce yourself, tell me about a time you've done this, and you really don't know what to do. All right. You also have the weekly mentorship session. And this is where every single week you get to see myself, you get to see the co-founder of Analytics of Femena. We bring in other industry experts, people that have played within the space, founders, co-founders, CEOs, CTOs of different tech companies, tech startups, people that have gone through the same route and they've been able to achieve success. We bring them back to mentor you, to talk to you. You understand what is obtainable in the industry. And for participants that have also achieved success as well, because every other week people get jobs in different locations. We bring them back to speak and give their experience on how the process was, what they were asked during the interview. So that's what the mentorship session is all about. And then on the job support. So now you've gotten that job and then you are faced with the very first project. And I'll give you a very funny story. So there was this gentleman who used to work as an accountant in Nigeria in the oil and gas industry. And he came into the UK, he joined our program, data analytics and data science. And eventually he got a job with one of the largest data consulting companies in the UK. Now, as a consultant, you are an expert. As a consultant, you are implementing projects for clients. So his first task was to go into a company and solve a data migration problem for them. And he was confused. Data migration project. I've not done this before. What do I do? He was burning up my phone, calling me, calling Femena, oh, this and that. And I just sent him a message. Let's set up a meeting later in the evening. All right. And it took just 1 hour. We had a meeting with him. I had a conversation with him. Femena also had a conversation with him. And that was all he needed. To what? He knew the right type of questions to ask. He knew what to do going into that company. And he was able to do that. And these are the support we provide to our participants. Every other time they send messages. I'm currently faced with this particular task, this particular problem. What do I do? And then somebody within the team, our senior data associates, our data coaches, so many of them would work with you to get that problem resolved. And that's the on-the-job support. So you're working with the biggest and the best in the industry. And we are very proud of what we've done and achieved within the space. Femena is going to work with you in the data science program, talk to you about the different ways to navigate the job market across the different regions, the UK most especially, and also the US. You'd also work with me. I'll bring my experience to bear and help you transition, prepare you for interviews, and also ensure that every single thing you need within the space to transition is provided and available to you. Nene, also a commercial analytics professional in the UK, she's worked with the big four KPMG while she was in Nigeria, worked with the Bank of America, worked with the Harvard Business Review, and she currently works with Zelos, which is a licensee of Nike. She's going to teach you problem solving. She's going to teach you how to navigate the financial analytics space and also valuation and so on and so forth. So for those in financial analytics, Nene is your go-to mentor and your trainer to help you transition. We have Inena, who is a product manager in the UK. Obina is a data scientist in Canada. For those in Canada, is going to work with you to ensure that you're able to transition. We have Sheon, who works with Visa. He works with Visa in the UK. We have Linda, who is a business analyst in Nigeria. She works with companies across the US and Europe as well. We have Emmanuel, the head of HR in one of the biggest boutique HR companies in Nigeria. We have Ibrahim, who is a medical doctor, also turned a machine learning engineer. And this goes to the fact that it doesn't matter what you've done or what you studied. Medical doctor turned machine learning engineer. He's still a medical doctor, building models to help detect different diseases and solutions, remedy to problems within the medical space. I studied industrial chemistry, for example, and I've been in tech for the most part of my career. Same with Femena, who studied economics. So it really doesn't matter what you studied or where you're starting from. The most important thing is for you to start. You'd work with Kelvin, you work with Teniola, who works with the Big Four here in the UK. Same with Abdurrahman, also works with the Big Four in the UK. Francis is a business analyst in the UK. Olugbemi in Canada, a business data analyst, is also going to work with you. And in terms of helping people get jobs, helping them navigate the job market, Olugbemi would help those in Canada, most especially in that regard. Again, the next cohort starts on the 2nd of September. And I've gotten numerous messages in my chat or direct messages saying, oh, what does it cost? What do I need to take? Can you break down the STAR approach? So that situation, okay, somebody has done that already. So the next cohort starts on the 2nd of September. That's next Saturday, the next Saturday, 2nd of September. And we've been having these sessions since the beginning of the month. And that's why somebody initially at the beginning said he's joined about 5 masterclasses. This is the last masterclass for the month of August, the very last masterclass. So you being in this masterclass, I think you should give yourself a round of applause for joining today, all right? Because I believe you would have gotten 1 or 2 things that are crucial to you making that transition and that switch, especially for those in Nigeria. You're planning to, relocate to the UK, to Canada. You don't want to relocate to these countries and go do the typical, go do the menial jobs, with all due respect to people that do it. But you should also know that there are pathways available for you to compete for the best jobs available out there. All right. Too many people have done it. Like I said, I'll share their stories with you. I've done it. Efemena has done it. And we've helped over 1,000 people to also do the same thing. Okay. And all you need to do is to get started, to get your journey into tech, also started in the year 2023. The next cohort starts on the 2nd of September. And what does it take for you to be in any of our programs? 600 Canadian dollars if you're paying in Canadian dollars, or 400 pounds if you're paying in pounds, or 320,000 Naira if you're paying in Naira. All right. Now, we also I have a special discount available for those who would want to transition, who would want to join the program. And we've kept this, we took the discount away, and then we got a lot of feedback, a lot of messages. Oh, please, we get salaries at the end of the month. Can you make the discount available? So we are making the discount available for only the first 20 people who are interested in joining the cohort starting on the 2nd of September. All right. And what is that discount available? So instead of paying 600 Canadian dollars, for example, you get to pay 500 Canadian dollars. And you can make the payment in 2 installments. So instead of paying the money once, to also make it easy for people to join and be a part of the program, you can break your payment into 2 installments. 350 Canadian dollars to get into the class and register. And then 150 pounds, I beg your pardon, 150 Canadian dollars 1 month after the program must have commenced. Okay, they are paying in Naira. Instead of paying 320,000, you get to pay 270,000. Again, you can split your payment into 2 parts. The first payment is 180 to be a part of the program, and then 90,000 balance payment 1 month after the program commences. So the program starts on the 2nd of September. So 1 month after the program starts, on the 2nd of October, you'll be required to make the balance payment for the program. All right. If you're paying in pounds, instead of paying 400 pounds to get into the class, you get to pay 300 pounds, and you can split in 2 payments as well, 200 to get into the class, and then 100 pounds 1 month after the program commences. Now, the data engineering is a bit different. Okay. So the data engineering, the discounted fee in Canadian dollars is 600 Canadian dollars. 450 first payment, 150 second payment. If you're paying in Naira, it's 350,000 Naira for data engineering. And you can also make your payment 250 first payment, 100,000 second payment. And if you're making your payment in pounds, it is 400 pounds, 300 pounds first payment, 100 pound second payment. All right. So the data engineering fee is a bit different because of the different tools, the tech stack you're going to be learning, and the technicalities of the things involved within the program. All right. So for those who are interested to be a part of the program, this discount is available just for the first 20 people, and the registration ends on Monday. Unfortunately, it ends on Monday. And this is simply because, like I said, I know for some of you, this is the first time you're joining our master classes, but we've been holding these master classes right from the beginning of the month. And we've held about, if I'm correct, well over 8 master classes in July already. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to take your questions, we'll interact, and I'll get to answer the questions that you have. But how do you then make payments? Very simple. My colleagues would send you the payment link for those who would love to make payments. And all you have to do is click on the link on the screen. All right. So you see the link that says pay with PayPal or Paystack. And all you have to do is click on that link. And if you click on the link, it takes you into this page. And I'll just show you that very quickly. Okay, so it takes you into this page, and all you have to do is you select the option of how you want to pay. All right, so you can pay using the Paystack channel or using PayPal for those of you that have PayPal. All right, so it's still coming up. All right, so while it's coming up, I'm just simply going to also show for those who want to make payments through transfer, because some people would say, oh, I can't really make payments using the link. I don't have a dollar card. I don't have a pound card, and so on and so forth. I want to pay in Naira, but I want to do a transfer. Okay. If you want to make payments using the transfer option, all you have to do is send the payments to this account detail. It's a Fidelity Bank account. And once you've done this, just send us a message to any of these numbers. All right. And my colleagues, the customer associate success team, would send you the link for you to upload your payments. Once we confirm your payment, you receive a welcome kit. All right. The welcome kit contains all the materials you need for the program. So let's assume you've joined the data analytics program, for example. Your Microsoft Excel, how to download and install. Power BI, how to download and install. Tableau, how to download and install. Your SQL, how to download and install the SQL, the database management system that you would use in class. Everything is provided in the welcome kit. And like I said, before we wrap up today in the next 15 minutes, we'll wrap up at, I think, at around 11 p.m. While I take questions, I would also show you the platform, and you'd see what it takes. When you join the platform, what are you likely going to see? And you'd also see some of the projects involved. My advice to you is you take a screenshot of the account details and make your payments as soon as you can, because the discount is not available to everybody. All right. The discount, will there be further discounts? I'm not sure what that question means, Edikan, but I'm telling you that the discount ends tomorrow. Tomorrow. All right. Tomorrow. That's when the discount ends. And that's simply because we have a lot of people that have registered already. Okay. And there's an onboarding session before you start. So to get your welcome kit, ensure you've downloaded all your applications and you're ready to start your journey on Saturday, because a lot of people like the last minute, dime minutes registration. And then you find yourself registering on Friday night and class starts on Saturday. You haven't downloaded and installed your applications, and then you are all over the place in class. We don't encourage that at all. All right. So we have, again, like I said, registration ends tomorrow, the 28th of August, 2023. And we have amazing testimonials. We have somebody on the call who's going to share his story. And when he does that, I'm also going to come back and I want you to listen to Ramat. All right. Ramat joins, just like so many of you would join the program. Or for some of you that have joined the program, because I saw some of you here, you've registered already, but you still joined our masterclass today. So you listen to Ramat, how she was able to get a job in the UK as a business analyst before she completed her training program. All right. You listen to Ramat, you listen to Solomon, and Solomon has an engineering background. and he currently works as a financial analyst. He joined our financial analytics program. And I, deliberately put these people forward for you to also see that, look, somebody in an engineering background joining financial analytics and being able to get a job as a financial analyst, that's phenomenal. All right. So we're going to take, let's see, we'll take Jonathan, who wants to say one or two things with us, and then we'll get to hear from Ramat and Solomon, and then I'll take your questions, and then we call it a day. All right. So Jonathan, you can go ahead and turn on your video. Let's get to see you. And then you can unmute yourself as well. If you can hear me, Jonathan.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fantastic. Jonathan, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. Good morning.
Oh, it's morning. Where are you? Where are you
Already.
joining us from, Jonathan?
I'm in Turkey, Istanbul.
Istanbul. Oh, fantastic.
Okay.
What program did you register for, Jonathan?
HR Analytics.
HR Analytics. Fantastic. All right. So, Jonathan, tell us about your experience, your journey with us at Analytics, and the advice you have to other people who might be thinking of, joining us as well at Analytics. So, over to you, Jonathan.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I joined the HR course in July, and it has been amazing. Yeah. The funny part of it is it was my wife that introduced me to Analytics. She got to know about it on the social media, and she was like, "Oh, you need to do this. You need to, at least you have a bit knowledge about this," because I was working with MTN before I left Nigeria, and I did a little bit of work with the HR and the customer care. So I was like, okay, I think it would be interesting for me to relate and to do stuff like this. So I started, and it's been amazing. The facilitators and the lessons. And the beauty of Analytics is you can learn at your own pace, even if you
Jonathan,
don't
I
attend
think,
the class.
can you hear me, Jonathan?
Yes, I can hear you.
I want to speak up a little bit. I can hear you, but it's a bit
Okay.
low. Your voice is a bit low.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's a lot better.
Okay. Good. Yeah. I was talking about the easy learning of Analytics. You can learn at your own pace. Even if you don't attend the class, you can watch the video and do exactly what they've learned in the class. Just that the beauty of attending the class is you get to interact with the facilitators. And even if you don't, you have access to your facilitators. If you have any problem, you can chat them up and they will put you through whatever you have issues with. I've designed a lot of dashboards and I'm so happy. Yes, I'm really proud of myself. I have a lot of dashboards. And another thing about Analytics is they take you through what you're going to experience when you land your job, likelihood of things you're going to work with. So you have no problem of thinking, oh, am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? They take you through the process, the first, second to the last level, your optimization, your CV review, your LinkedIn optimization, and how to attend your interview. Everything, every step they take you through everything. If I'm permitted, I will show you my dashboard. Another thing I got to learn about Analytics, you get to present your recommendations to your dashboard. I was able to do one with PowerPoint, and there is no company you present that to that they won't know this is a perfect job. You
Go
get
ahead
to.
and share your screen, Jonathan. Let's
Can
see
I
what
share
you've
my
done.
dashboard? Can I share
Yes,
it?
go ahead, please. Let's see
Okay.
what you've been able to do.
Okay. It's coming up here. Can you see this?
Fantastic. Yes, I can. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So this is about talent sourcing from a company, and look at the total number of employees. We have a 50% of male and female, 46%. Average length of service 4, and average employee age is 35, which shows they are young adults, 35 of age. Look at the attrition rate, 72%. They have issues in this company with bad hires, and we're able to come about how to curb getting bad people into the company, and how to make things right in the company. Another thing, let me share another thing.
Yes, go
Now,
ahead,
okay,
please.
we are still able to talk about regions. We are still able to talk about regions. Not that you employ people, you look at some things where to employ people from, not that you just employ. Look at this. Can you see my screen?
Yes, your PowerPoint presentation, we can see it.
Yeah, look at insights. Yeah, insights, recommendation, and solution to talent sourcing dashboard. Now, still relating back to the dashboard, we'll look at the flawed recruitment and selection process, the weak retention strategy leading to short length of service, and final recommendation. All this still boils down to talking about the dashboard, what the company needs to look into so that they won't have bad hires, how to take care of their employees, and every other thing that is needed to be done. So all
Yeah.
these things are what will be taught in Internalities, and I can assure everyone here that you'll be in a safe hand. They will take you through every step with ease, and you're going to enjoy it. And I can assure you, Internalytics is the best place to be when you want to transit into your tech and every other thing.
Fantastic, Jonathan. I'm smiling uncontrollably with all the fantastic, but your dashboard looks brilliant. It looks, very visually appealing, fantastic. And of course, the presentation, which is one of the things we always emphasize. Your job is not just to build a dashboard and that looks good, but how do you transfer the insights you've gotten from the dashboard into actionable requirements, actionable recommendations to the company, which was what Jonathan just showed us in his PowerPoint. So you're going to present what you found and recommend to the companies. And these presentations, Jonathan, you presented them as different teams, during your sessions where you had to present them and you got feedback on how to do things better and so on and so forth. So you are doing this in class. You're not going to get into the job market and you find out that, look, I have to present and my communication skill is zero. So you need to know how to take those insights. Where are the problems? What are the solutions? And then you present that to the key stakeholders. What time is it in Istanbul at the moment, Jonathan?
This is almost 1 a.m.
Almost 1
in
a.m.
the
Wow.
night.
So you're about 3 hours ahead of us, if I'm correct.
Yes.
About 2 hours. About
Yes.
2 hours ahead of us.
Two,
All
two,
right.
two, two.
About 2 hours, yes. Thank you very much, Jonathan, for joining us
You're
to
welcome.
share your experience with us. And for those who have also seen the fact that, these are some of the things you can learn. Jonathan joined in July, the HR analytics, and he's doing a fantastic job within the space. We deeply appreciate you taking our time to share your experience today, Jonathan. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
All right. Please get some sleep. Okay. Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Yes, yeah.
All right. So let's get back into the slide. And like I said, I'm just simply I want you to listen to Ramat. I'm going to share the slides with you. So you have the opportunity to take out time and look at all the different areas, the different people that have come through the program and have done fantastic work at Analytics. Ramat got a job in the UK after just 3 months in the business analysis program. So she was still in the program when she got the job. We worked with her during our interview, and today she works as a business analyst. Okay, so let's listen to Ramat very quickly, like I said, and then when we come back, I'll just show you what the platform looks like, the type of projects you're going to work on, and then we call it a day. So when you get the slide, all you have to do is just click on this link. Okay, click on the link over here, and it takes you into Ramat's presentation. Right?
Hi, good day. My name is Ramat, and if you're stumbling on this, trust me.
So I'm going to start again. So I need you to confirm if you heard What, Ramat? Did you hear what she said? Can you hear the audio? Just type in yes if you can hear the audio. If you can hear Ramat. Okay, thank you, Florence. So let's start again. I'm just going to refresh and let's hear Ramat one more time. All right.
Hi, good day. My name is Ramat, and if you're stumbling on this, trust me, you've landed in the right place because I'm going to be briefly sharing my experience with you about my journey with Analytics and how I was able to get a job within 3 months of joining the cohort. I joined them and enrolled for the course. Analytics as well-seasoned facilitators who are experts in the field. Imagine not having any experience beforehand as a business analyst and finishing with Analytics as a pro. Personally, I also got interview preparation sessions that helped me prepare well for my interviews, and this enabled me ace my interview. So if you're looking to transition or you're having any doubt, trust me, you shouldn't, because Analytics is really amazing and you should consider enrolling.
Right, so that's Ramat's story. You have Solomon, but again, like I said, when you get the slide, take out time, listen to the amazing professionals who have joined our program. You have Sheila from Ghana. For those of you in Ghana, we have Konadu from Ghana as well. In fact, Konadu's feedback was absolutely phenomenal. Somebody who had never done data science, she joined the data science program and she's doing a fantastic job. And with so many people, like we said, the goal for us is not just for you to learn, but for you to do what transition. We have Sunday. Sunday joined our data science program, and today he works as a regulatory data analyst in the UK. We prepared him for his interview, and he sent us a message when he got his offer saying that, I got the offer as a regulatory data analyst, and I have received my offer, and I have been hired. I wrote Sunday's reference. The company reached out to us to say, Sunday has worked with you, provide a reference for us, for Sunday, and for us to confirm. And this is Sunday's story. You have Nathaniel. Nathaniel works with Boehringer, one of the largest private research pharmaceutical companies in Barcelona, Spain. And he joined our data science program as well. He worked with one of our associates who helped him prepare for his interview. And he was sending a message to say, gracias, thank you very much. I got the job. I got my confirmation. Thank you so much for your help. Fantastic guy. Currently works as a data scientist with Boehringer in Barcelona, Spain. You have Amaka, who works as a business support analyst in the UK after completing our data analytics program. All right. She works with one of the councils here in the UK. She joined our program in January this year, and she was able to get this job sometime around June or July, if I'm correct. So within 6 months after taking the step to start her journey, she was able to transition to get a job in the UK. She came for her master's. She completed her master's. And before she even did her graduation, she had resumed the job as a business support analyst. And these are the things we preach to people. Don't come here and at the end of the day, you go into a major organization and then you see the Asians, the Indians holding the technical roles, and the Africans, the Nigerians are the ones populating the menial jobs and the career path where you really can't see a career progression for yourself. We have Desola, who got a job as a business analyst with the NHS in the UK. The NHS, for those of you in the UK, you'd know how important the NHS is. One of the largest, the organization that hires the highest number of Analytics participants, the NHS, because they always recruit. Desola got a job as a business analyst with the NHS in the UK. And this is her sending me a message to say, hi, Adeza, I got the job. I'm pleased to inform you that I got a job with the NHS and so on. We were super excited for her. One of the feedback she got was the technical part of the business analysis questions that were asked. She performed the best in those questions. All right. And this is simply because you had internal applicants. So you had the NHS employees applying to that same role. But when it came to the business analysis part of the questions, Desola was the best candidate. You have Benga, who currently works as a business data analyst in Poland. Of course, Benga moved to Poland in the year 2021, had always wanted to get a job, but he struggled to get a job. He joined our program in February this year, and by June, if I'm correct, about 5 months into his program, he got a job as a business data analyst. And this is him sending me a message: boss, I got this job. I was super excited for him because I worked with him severally during his interview preparation sessions. And he also worked with so many other senior associates within the Tenalytics team that prepared him for several interviews. Because we don't advise you to go for just one interview, as many interviews as possible. And we will work with you to ensure that you are prepared for that interview. Apart from getting the job, which he eventually took, he got 3 more offers. So he had 4 offers to select from, and he went for the one that gave him the best opportunity with the good salary and also, hybrid working. He doesn't have to go to the office every day. You have Stephen Anointing also got a job. He used to work with Tesco as a customer success analyst, and today he works as a junior data analyst with the Access Group in the UK after joining our data analytics program. And again, this is me sending Stephen questions to practice, the questions and answers for him to practice, and eventually he reached out to me. I have got the job. I was super excited for him, obviously. He even sent me the video of how he was unboxing his laptop and everything. You have Whistling. Whistling got a job with Shell in the UK. She joined our program in October 2022. And this is Whistling sending me a message after we've had so many sessions of preparation, phone calls, what to prepare for. This is me sending her documents for her to prepare for the interview she had coming up. All right. And the next thing she said was, "Hi, Adeza, just to update you on the outcome of the interview. I'm pleased to let you know that I have been offered the position at Shell." This is not Shell in Nigeria or Shell in Ghana. This is Shell in the UK as a sales analyst after joining the data analytics program. So we are super proud of the work that we do. And for those who want to transition, the best place you can go to learn from experienced professionals is at where? At Tenalytics. We're super excited for Whistling. Today she works as a sales analyst with Shell here in the UK. You have Emeka, you have Olugbemi, who currently works as a business data analyst with the Law Depot in Canada. He left Nigeria last year with the intention that, look, I'm leaving because I want to get a job in tech. And we had a conversation before he registered, and he was very, very deliberate about what he wanted to achieve. All right. We worked with him during his interview. I worked with him, ensured that he was prepared, and eventually he got a job as a business data analyst sometime around July 2022. So listen to Olugbemi's story here. All right. When you get the slides later, click and listen to Olugbemi's story. You have Uthman, who got a job with the NHS as well as a business intelligence officer. So for people who ask the question that, can I get a job without, do I need to know all the skills to get a job? Uthman was fresh out of the university. In fact, he did not even join a session like this, the one you currently joined. Uthman's brother, his elder brother, joined the session and sent the link to him. All right, I want you to be a part of this program. And that was how Uthman found himself, in one of our programs, the data analytics program. I sat down with him during his interview, his case study presentation, his assessment center, basically during the recruitment process. And today he works as a business intelligence officer with the NHS. You have Ubong, you have Adebisi, who works with Jaguar Land Rover in the UK in Coventry as a data engineer after joining our data science program. You have Chizoba, who also works with the NHS as a data engineer after joining our data engineering program. You have Ebube, who works with the NHS. When I say the NHS has recruited the highest number of Tenalytics participants in the UK, you'd understand exactly what I mean. She works as a data scientist with the NHS. And the beauty of working with the NHS is it comes with visa sponsorship. So you want to remain in the UK and work your way into ILR, indefinite leave to remain, and then you get citizenship. Getting a job like this is a pathway to get in there. So it comes with visa sponsorship. They sponsor your visa, you stay in the country, you work for 5 years. After 5 years working on that visa, you can then apply for ILR, indefinite leave to remain. After 1 year on your ILR, you then apply for citizenship. All right. Again, you have Abdul Rashid. Abdul Rashid works remotely from Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria, with a company in the US called Chow 420 as a data scientist. He earns in dollars, he spends in Naira in Ilorin, Kwara State. You have Victor, who works remotely as well with Hugo in Chicago, Illinois, as a people operations analyst after joining our HR analytics program. And there's so many of them. I'm not going to bore you with all the success stories. We have Maureen. Maureen got a job with TELUS in Canada, one of the largest telecommunications company in Canada, as a HR data analyst after joining our HR analytics program. So when you get the slide, take out time, look at all the stories, the success stories, and people that have been able to transition, getting their journey started. Okay, getting their journey started. We really can't show everything because we'll spend the whole day. We have videos, we have, slides. So take out time and go through them when you receive the slides eventually. Oh, people working in Nigeria, Ilodigwe Solomon, rather, who had the engineering background. He has an engineering background. He got a job with Kegos Oil and Gas Company, working as a financial analyst. He works in Nigeria. All right. Same with Victor. Yes. And then you also have Afolabi, also working in Nigeria. You have Matthew. Matthew also got a job after completing our Power Platform program, getting a job within one of the companies here in the UK. And our participants work with some of the biggest companies across the globe: Revolut, HSBC, Cognizant, the NHS, Post Office, GT Bank, across Africa, Nigeria, and across the globe. All right, so I'm going to take questions now because we've talked and said a lot of things. I'll take questions before we call it a day. I don't know if Efemena also wants to come back to say one or two things before we wrap it up, but I'll be taking questions. So if you have questions, please send a message to the chat. I'm going to scroll through the chat, but if you want to unmute yourself and speak, please, I would encourage you to do that. Feel free, just use the raised hand icon. I would allow you to unmute yourself, and then you can go ahead and speak. Somebody's saying, are all success stories for analysts, no success stories for data engineers? You didn't see the guy that worked, Chinedu, the guy that works with Jaguar Land Rover. He studied with us and he works as a data engineer. We also have a fantastic lady who works with the NHS as a data engineer as well. There are success stories across all the programs, all the programs we offer. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll through the chat for questions to see questions that I haven't answered, and then I'll take those questions. Can I get a job as a data analyst if I'm a data scientist? Absolutely, you can, Luca. And that's a brilliant question. But again, what you need to look out for is what? The job requirements. What does the job require? Do you have the skill? If, for example, as a data scientist, you would learn Excel for predictive analytics, you would learn Tableau. Okay, but if the job requires you to have core skills in Power BI, you might not be able to apply to that job as a data analyst if you've studied data science. Okay, so you would need to have the skill in Power BI. However, you'd see roles that would not require you to have Power BI. They would have a preference for Tableau. So when you see those type of roles and it meets the requirements, you apply to the job. Okay, you apply to that job. Anna is saying, is it possible to get job sponsorship from Nigeria to the UK or other parts of the world? Absolutely, Anna, absolutely. And there are so many people that have done this, but I'll tell you that it is easier to get those jobs when you're in the country than outside the country. All right. If from Nigeria trying to get a job into the UK would take a whole lot of effort from you to do that. It's easier for you to work remotely, where you get to work on projects on Upwork and so on and so forth, than wanting to get a visa-sponsored job from Nigeria into the UK. It's a lot easier for you to do that when you're within the UK. All right, because you're competing with people in the country. So as a company, it's cheaper for me to hire somebody here in the UK than to hire somebody I have to bring from a different country all the way down to the UK. All right, so it's easier to get remote opportunities in that regard. You work from Nigeria and you work from Nigeria for companies across the globe in the US, in the UK. We don't offer project management, okay? All right, as a business analyst, you stand to apply to more jobs and in more diverse organizations than a project manager. Okay, let me see. I think I've pretty much answered all the questions that we have in the chat. If I haven't answered your question, please drop the question again in the chat and then I'll answer your question. All right. Now, just to show you the platform and what the platform looks like. So when you join, what do you join exactly? All right. How do you learn? And this is very important because if you miss a class on a Saturday, a live class, what happens? You haven't missed out on anything, and I'll show you. All right. So let's look at the business analysis cohort that started in August, on the 5th of August. So again, for the business analysis, we have 2 classes to fit your respective time zone. So if you're in Nigeria, you are in the UK, you are in somewhere across Africa, you are in Ghana, you have similar time zones, right? So you fall into the business analysis EU because you have similar time zones. Now, if you're in the US, you are in Canada, you are somewhere in North America, you fall into the business analysis NA. So we have, different classes to fit your time zone. So let's look at the business analysis EU. All right. And let's see what the program looks like, really. So when you join the program, you've made your payments, you've received your welcome kit, you join this platform, which is your classroom. Okay. And this is where you get different announcements for the class. And if you click on classwork, all right, this is where you have all your materials. Okay. And for the business analysis EU, if you click on people, you'll see the total number of people in that class, 50 people in this particular class for the EU cohort. All right. So if I click on classwork and I scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see all the different things they've done. First of all, you have your welcome kit. Okay, the welcome kit contains your lesson plan, how to download and install the different applications that you'll be using and all of that. You have your installations, how to install Power BI for Mac, how to install Power BI for Windows, and so on and so forth. You have an onboarding session. If you remember, I mentioned this. Before you start your class on Saturday, the 2nd, you have an onboarding session to just prep you to answer your questions if you have any and so on. And then you have your first Microsoft Excel class as a business analyst. And to show you that it's a project-based class, the project you work on is a project for a marketing campaign. All right. And if I click on that, you see what the case study looks like. It's a marketing campaign case study where you'll be looking at the customer behavior and market analysis to help the business take decisions on what to do to maximize their profits. So you have the background, you have the data dictionary, and then you have your tailored analysis on what you'd be doing. All right. So this is the very case study you're going to look at in your Excel class. Now, let's assume you missed out on this class. You were busy, you had Owambe, you couldn't attend the class. What happens? You have your class recording. All right. All you have to do, come to the platform, open up the class material, you see the case study, you see all the thing that was used in class, for that. So you have an introduction. You don't just dive into a case study. You first go into the introduction into business analysis. All right. Excel for business analysis. Why is Excel important? These are the very first things you would look at. So you have all the materials on the platform for you. And then you have your recording. So once you open up the recording, You get to see every single thing that happened in class, and the recordings are available to you. It's a lifetime access for you. Lifetime access. You can come to the platform, see all the things that was done in class, practice them. And if you have questions, you send your questions into the WhatsApp group. Now, I talked about multi-layered support system. So let's assume you missed out on this class. You've watched the video, you've implemented the things you've seen in the video, but you didn't get it correctly. You send a message to the chat, and your data coach responds to say, oh, you should have done it this way. You try to do it again, but nothing still happened. You still couldn't get it right. What happens? We schedule something we call a drop-in session. That drop-in session happens during the week. So this is a live class. I'm just going to allow it. Let me complete my thoughts, and then I'll just play it to just see a bit of what happens in class. The drop-in session happens during the week, where somebody, a data coach, would work with you one-to-one to help you solve that problem you couldn't solve on your own. So you don't go into a new class the following weekend still having the problem you had from the previous class, okay? And we've seen this over time as experts, learners within the space, that people get stuck and it can be very frustrating. And this is something that you don't get from any other platform. You watch videos on YouTube. Who do you reach out to when you have a problem? You have a course and so many tons of courses you would have bought on maybe Coursera or Udemy. You have a problem. How do you resolve that problem? Real time. Especially a problem that you can't really just solve by going to search, going to Google. You need somebody to speak to you, to tell you, click this, drag this, drop it here. Why? Because you are new in that space. All right. When you've completed that point of the introductory part, you've done a lot of things, you've built a lot of dashboard, just like Jonathan that came around. When you see a problem, there's a tendency that you know the right solution without even needing to ask somebody. But that initial stage, we provide that support all through your learning journey to ensure that you don't find yourself stuck at any point in time. So this is what a typical class looks like.
Right. So if it was get it, I will show you how they got it. Very good.
Is that okay now?
Now,
okay, so you get to interact with your trainer, you get to listen, you get to ask questions.
So they've called you the business analyst to analyze this data and give them some actionable insights.
All right, so this is the video of a class, a live class that happened. So like I said, you really don't miss out on anything. That's the very first Excel class. Second Excel class, you're working on another different case study called the Sunshine Results case study. So here you're working for a results company, trying to help them understand their data, what happens in the business, what they need to do, and so on and so forth. All right, what's their average occupancy rates and things like that. So you are solving problems as a business analyst. And then you have your case study presentations. So you're not just solving, you present your findings. For this case study presentation, I was on the call, all right? I was there with them, they presented, and then I gave my feedback. In fact, I wish I could, let me just play this so that you get to see. And these are people that are new. Their second Excel class, they did this presentation, second Excel class, and you'll be marveled by the fantastic insights they were able to get. I'm just going to play about 60 seconds for you. You get to listen to some of the things that they said during the presentation, and then I'll take Fred's question, and I think we'll call it a day from there. Okay, so I'm just going to move this to around the end parts. So you get to hear one of the presentations done by the group. So you have groups. We always put you in groups. So you collaborate, you learn your collaboration skills, teamwork. So this was a group. Victoria presented for this group. So let's listen to Victoria's contribution, her presentation for 60 seconds, and then
supermarket. So basically, according to the data that we were given, This organization has a total number of 2,240 customers, and the average income of their customers is 52,247, which means they're actually high earners. And we also saw from the data that the average store purchase per customer is 6 items, so we should vary from different items. So the organization hosted a campaign and hosted a series of campaigns, and we discovered from the data that the campaign that was most successful was the last campaign that had about 22,000 results. And from that campaign, we also discovered that the most popular platform that the customers use are the store purchases, and of course the web visit month purchase as well, followed by the web.
But one thing I want to add, and I think this is general to everybody that has presented so far, is whenever you are presented with a problem, okay, you might want to also do a little bit of extra research. Right. So that's me giving feedback to those that presented. This was their second Excel class. After the second Excel class, they had a presentation. You had the team members, the team leads presented for the group, but they worked together in a group to come up with those solutions. All right. So this is what the typical class looks like. You have access to all of this. You have your mentorship session every week. You can see that. You have your CV review sessions. You have, this was the Power BI class 1, class 2, and then of course, you had another presentation on Power BI, what you were able to create. And of course, you had your SQL classes, another CV review session, and so on and so forth. And we had a session on what? Immigration pathways for technical participants transitioning into tech. All right. So this was a session where we brought in an immigration expert to work with people who were planning to either leave their country to move to other countries, or they're currently in the UK, in Canada, in the US, across other regions, who would want to understand the opportunities available within those areas. So you have your drop-in session, like I mentioned, when you have challenges that you cannot resolve on your own. You've sent messages, the messages are not cutting it. You need that one-to-one interaction. You have the drop-in sessions. Your LinkedIn optimization, everything is recorded. You don't miss out on anything. If you have an interview prep or you need clarity on something that happened, all you need to do, you can schedule a session, and you look for the next available time. You select the time. This is Tuesday. There's a time available for 6 p.m. I click on that. Enter my name, enter my email, enter the details of what my session is all about, and then I schedule my events. The moment I schedule, what happens? It goes right. I get the invite in my email, and then the data associate also gets the invite as well. And then you meet and you get your problems resolved. All right. So this is just a snapshot of the business analysis. And of course, that's only for the EU. All right. So when we tell people that, look, the first 20 people get the opportunity, only for the business analysis EU, we have 50 participants, 50. All right. For the business analysis North America, we have close to another 50 or thereabouts. I'm not entirely sure. Again, we have about how many people quickly? We have 30. So altogether for business analysis, we had about 80 people that joined the program. All right. Now, 20 people get advantage of the discount. And that's why we say, if it's something you want to get into, business analysis, data analytics, HR analytics, financial analytics. I wish I could show you all the projects, but then we are already out of time. Okay. So again, I'll take one more question from Fred, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Remember, you want to be a part of the cohort starting on the 2nd of September. All you have to do is take advantage of the discounts available and make your payments, or simply, you can also send us a direct transfer. Somebody would reach out to you send us a direct transfer, and then you send us a message with a proof of payment to any of these numbers. And one of our customer associates one of our customer success associates would reach out to you. Okay. No reviews at all on Power Platform. Like I said, iPhone, I can't go through everything. And of course, I showed you somebody who got a job as a Power Platform engineer. All right. There are too many for me to show every single thing on the call. When you receive the slide, take out time to go through everything yourself. Okay. We'll make it available to you. The recording, the slides. Follow us across all our socials as well, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, formerly Twitter, Threads, LinkedIn, across all our platforms. Ensure you follow us and see the amazing stuff we've done. So Fred, go ahead and ask your question, and then we'll call it a day. Go ahead, Fred.
Good day, Adeza.
Hello, Fred.
It's nice having your presentation. I just want to ask a question because
Yes.
I'm intended joining the data engineering, and
Okay.
I'm trying to go through LinkedIn looking for
Okay.
data engineering job, and I noticed that in some of the job requirement they mention DevOps.
Okay.
Is it part of the curriculum?
Okay. Very good question, Fred. First of all, the answer is no. All right. And again, when people search for jobs, this is where a lot of mistakes also come in. And I'll give you a typical example. When you're searching for jobs within your specific area, you tend to find so many things, some that are peculiar to some organizations, and some HR professionals simply just do what? They copy and paste. We want to recruit a data engineer. They copy something and paste it somewhere. All right. Now, what you need to do is to not just to look for one particular role, check across different roles, and then you see the skills applicable to the data engineer as a data engineer. And what you'd find typically for data engineering roles, you'd find somebody who has the skills in SQL, Python, different tools in managing big data, like orchestration and scheduling your different jobs using Apache Airflow, also learning your version control using Git, and so on and so forth. All right. So you would also need to learn cloud engineering, which there are so many types of cloud engineering. And when you see one, you can also get confused. For example, GCP. All right. You also have Azure, which is a Microsoft-based cloud tool. All right. So when you see Azure, for example, don't get confused and say, oh, I must learn Azure. No, you have different cloud engineering platforms. GCP, Azure, you also have GCP, you have Azure, and then you have AWS. AWS is widely accepted across the different economies, and that's why we selected AWS. Okay, but when you tend to search for jobs and you see all these things, it would appear to you that, oh, I need to learn GCP or I need to learn Azure because it's not a part of the things I'll be learning. They do the same thing. The only difference is there are different cloud technologies from different companies eventually. All right. Azure is from Microsoft, GCP is from Google, AWS is from Amazon. All right. So again, we would work with you all through the job search process, how to search for jobs, how to apply to jobs, how to tailor your CV to the job requirements, and so on and so forth. I don't know if that helps, Fred. You've muted yourself.
Yeah, it helps. So if I'm in for the program, automatically,
Yes.
let me say I'm applying to a company XYZ, and the requirement placed there, all I need to do is to come one-on-one with you, see how we modify the requirement to fit in with the curriculum, what I've already learned, to apply for the job.
Okay, very good question, Fred. So that you don't always come back to us every single time you want to apply to jobs, because first of all, it's not practical. If you need to apply to 20 jobs, does it mean you come back to us 20 times? So what we do is to give you the skill, would show you what you need to do and make the tools available to you. All right. Take, for example, you'll be in a session, a practical session on how to use a tool called Jobalytics. What does Jobalytics do for you? It's a platform where you take your current CV, you copy and paste the content. All right. You copy the job requirements, paste it as well, and you would run a match. And it will tell you, Fred, oh, your CV matches this job by 65%. And this is because you did not have this particular skill. You don't have anything that says this or anything that says that. You don't have your phone number on your profile. You don't have an address on your profile. So it will tell you the areas where you fall short. And then you go back and address all those areas and you run your search again. And it tells you that your CV has moved from 60% to 85%. 85% is usually the benchmark. And we say you go ahead and apply to that job. You can't meet a job 100%. It's not possible. If you meet the job 100%, it means you are not likely going to get challenged, in that role, and the company is not likely going to employ you as well. 85%, go ahead and apply. So we'll show you how to tailor your CV for job applications, because you're going to be applying to a minimum of 20 jobs every day. Now, when you get an interview opportunity, you schedule a session with us. I would sit down with you to look at the job description, look at your CV, and prepare you for what you would likely get during that interview. If it's a 3-level interview, 4-level interview, irrespective, would work with you to ensure that all through the steps for that interview, you have all the things you need to get prepared. All the things you need to ensure that your CV is up to scratch in terms of the templates, your sessions. You'll be in a session where practically you'll be shown what to do. If you've been a teacher for the last 5 years and you're applying to a data engineering role, how do you tailor your last 5 years to ensure that it fits into data engineering and you can apply to that job and not present yourself as somebody who is new in that space, but somebody who has done things within the area? You tailor and modify your CV to fit into that narrative. So these are the things we're going to provide to you and show you how to do, Fred. Okay.
Thank you very much. Your last point cleared
Yes.
my gap, so I'm very okay with everything. Thank you.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Fantastic, Fred. All right. So I think that'll be the last question for tonight. Else, we're just going to keep going on and would never end the session for today. Please, if you've gotten value from today's session, just type in, yes, I've gotten value, or just type in yes into the chat. So I know that for us, what we always do is ensure that when we have sessions like this, we try to give as much value as possible. All right. Now, this is a free session. Okay, I'm not sure anybody paid to be a part of today's session. And we hold this free session to keep on sharing the message. And for you to know that, look, you might not start your tech journey today, but when you eventually decide to start, you know that you have a learning partner in Analytics who would help you make that transition and get to where you want to get to eventually. All right. So once again, follow us across all our social media platforms. Follow me as well on LinkedIn. If you send me a request, I'm going to accept that request. Send me a request. Follow me on LinkedIn. Follow Analytics on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, across all our platforms, so that when we have amazing sessions like this, you are the first person to know and get the notification. All right. You'd all get the slides, you get the recording. And for those who stayed up until this moment, thank you very, very much for spending your amazing Sunday with us. All right. Would call it a day at this point in time. And I want to say thank you very much for being a part of our Sunday. And I'd love to see you in class. So go ahead and register. We're also going to have a clarity session because we find out that somebody's asking for my name. My name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm just going to type that into the chat. Adeza Suleiman, not Adeze. People call me Adeze. It's not Adeze. It's Adeza Suleiman. I just typed that into the chat. All right. we're going to have a clarity session where some people would say, oh, I've been in strategy and I don't know if I should join data analytics or business analysis. So you'd likely get a link if you are in our WhatsApp group or you received an email to be a part of today's session. All right. You'd receive a link to schedule a clarity session. For those of you that have questions, you want to speak with me, you want to speak with Efemena, oh, I don't think I've been in accounting. Is financial analytics the best for me, or should I register for data analytics? We get all these questions that we can't answer in a session like this. All right. So Josephine, I'm deeply sorry. I couldn't answer your question. I just saw your message now. When you see the clarity session link, ensure that you register for that. Let's have a conversation in a much smaller, with a smaller population. So it's easier for us to take as many questions as possible. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful, productive week ahead. And I would love to see you on the 2nd of September, starting your journey with us. Have an amazing week and cheers, everybody.